Jordan here in the Weather Center. It's a weather impact alert day. We've been talking about this threat all day and really all week for the last several days because we knew we were going to have this strong system roll through the region here.
Yes.
And now we are tracking some of those storms that are just to the north of our viewing area. So,
it's going to be a busy night, folks, so we got a lot to tell you, so pay attention.
Yeah, between Indianapolis and Bloomington right now, they're dealing with some strong storms. And we'll get to that radar in just a moment. But first, we can pop up some of our graphics. In terms of this weather impact alert, this is, the same graphic we've been showing. Damaging winds being the primary threat, but we have a lot of shear, a lot of spin that these storms can tap into. So that's when you can get tornado warnings, and we're already seeing those off to our north. Heavy rainfall is also a concern. Many of us under a flood watch. So we always mention, John, this time of night especially, have multiple ways to receive alerts. Something loud that can wake you up.
Mallory and I are going to stay till this ends tonight, but you got to have more than one way to keep yourself and your family safe.
Yes. So, charge your phone now, turn up the ringer as loud as you can, and NOAA Weather Radio, even a better option there. So here's the SPC outlook. If you've been keeping an eye on it, it shifts here or there. They have updates every few
Ebbing and
hours.
flowing.
Yes. So they pulled the orange, that level 3 out of 5 southward, and then kind of boomeranged it back north. I will let you know that the tornado risk really hasn't changed. The wind risk has decreased ever so slightly. And I think we're just talking about, the scattered to numerous kind of thing rather than the strength of it.
The main show is north of the parkways. The tornado threat is really across our far northern communities, definitely north of Corydon to Madison and points to the north. And we're going to show you radar here in a few moments. And there's a couple of really nasty storms.
Yeah. So this is, variable by variable here, threat by threat. Damaging wind potential, as we've been talking about, has been our greatest threat. But tornado potential, this is high for us. And I know it just says 2 to 5%. And some people are like, okay, why do I have to worry about that, right?
Yeah.
But it's something that you really have to pay attention to because we're seeing 10 to 15+% in those areas off to the north. And we're seeing some of those radar signatures right now. Hail is the least thing that I'm worried about. That's been primarily with some of these supercells off to the north at first. But for us, it's really the wind, the rain that could lead to some flooding at times. So we do have a flood watch from 9 p.m. to 9 a.m. And a lot of this is proactive because this is an overnight event. And flooding is even worse at night.
Turn around, don't drown. Oh my gosh, look at radar. There's storms. What a surprise.
Storms, yes. And, much of today, dry, warm, windy. It's windy out there right now. You're feeling those gusts. And so the atmosphere has been trying to recover after that first round. So if you were watching the newscast earlier this evening, I was tracking round 1, and we still had some showers in southern Indiana. All that kind of pulled a little bit farther south than some of the model data had, and that's important because it shifted now this second round.
Mallory and I have been talking every morning, the last couple of mornings, trying to figure things. We were really concerned about what's called the cold pool. So these lines of storms push a lot of rain-cooled air further south, and that storms are moving to the east-southeast. And so when that does, that usually pushes the boundary a little further south. And you can see the SPC today had to move the moderate. That was a pretty good shift.
Right.
It really was.
Yeah. Originally, we were looking at central to maybe northern
Peoria,
Indiana, Illinois, those same areas that got hit last week. And then everything has just been continuing to shift, even with the tornado warnings tonight. So here's kind of that big picture view of the satellite and radar here. You'll notice, we are right on the cusp. So I would not be surprised if we might have to do some cut-ins for our northernmost counties here within the next hour.
I would expect a few tornado warnings tonight. If you're listening to us and you're in Lawrence, Jennings, Jackson counties, you're in everywhere from Du Bois and Washington and Orange and Scott and Madison and anything Floyd, Clark, northward. Please have a couple ways to receive your warning. See those red boxes? Those are not kids coloring. Those are tornado warnings.
Right. And the yellow boxes there, severe thunderstorm warnings. So this one that's diving southeast would be heading toward Lawrence County. And the current warning takes us through 10:30. Oh, and then another red polygon just popped up. So that's kind of what we've been seeing.
That's the one that really bothers me is that one right here, the middle one. That's moving to the east-southeast at about 35 to 40 miles an hour. And that's going to be in towards Bedford. So Bedford, you've got about an hour? And notice that thing is rotating on the backside. See that lightning on the backside Mallory's showing you on that loop over by Robinson, Illinois? That thing is a supercell. It's a rotating thunderstorm. And just looking at it, without looking at diagnosis on the radar, that's a storm I would be very worried about.
So this is what we're watching tonight. And once again, our northernmost counties, those are the first ones to go under the tornado watch. This was issued during the early evening newscasts, I believe during the 5 o'clock hour. A lot of that is due to A, the storms moving through that area first, and B, those 3 counties being under the National Weather Service, Indianapolis. So you'll notice there, Lawrence, Jackson, Jennings counties under this tornado watch till 1 a.m. And I know NWS Louisville's chatting with the SBC right now, so we'll see what they decide to do if there's another watch.
There will be another watch.
Yeah.
I don't know when, but it's coming soon to it. Basically, if you're in, I would think Louisville northward for sure, you're going to be under a tornado watch. I don't know how far south they'll go. They may go down to E-Town or something like that.
Yeah, they're probably coordinating maybe with Cincinnati and all that.
Paducah's got to get involved. How long does Indy want to keep a couple there still in? Then they talk to Wilmington and maybe not Jackson yet, but anyway, they got to talk to multiple offices.
There's a lot of coordination there.
There is a lot of coordination.
Yeah, so let's talk about currents here in Louisville. We're still in the 80s. Dew point, that is increased.
Yeah, that's the big thing. I was stunned. I just looked at Owensboro. They're 69.
Yeah, let me see if I can pull up.
Can you pull up that OBS sheet?
I have like
any of these.
a regional dew point map.
That's really concerning. There's a surge of moisture from western Tennessee, Memphis, Jackson, Tennessee, over to Paducah, the land between the lakes, Bowling Green, Evansville. Those are 70-degree dew points, and these suckers feed on that moisture. It's fuel to these nasty rotating thunderstorms that Mallory was alluding to, because we got all this wind shear. Wind shear and moisture and a lifting mechanism is no bueno, not good.
Yeah, so I know a lot of people think about the fact that, oh, hey, when the sun goes down, usually things weaken. Not in this kind of scenario.
This is a very anomalous pattern. For us to have this kind of a wind pattern in mid-June this is usually up in Minnesota,
right?
The Dakotas.
North this time of year.
This is very unusual.
Yeah.
That's why we're here tonight.
That is, yes. So wind gusts, as we were talking about, those have been very high, just kind of out ahead, or I should say south of the storms as well. So these are non-thunderstorm gusts,
right,
but we're still feeling them. Yeah, 30 miles per hour. I saw 35, close to 40 at times earlier. So yeah, strong gradient.
And they're right from the south, and that's why the dew points have really come up. So dew point is moisture. You might notice, Louisville, in the last couple hours, it has become more humid, even though it's windy out.
Yes. So this should be the latest run of the HRRR. Does look like it's a little too far north. It looks like with those storms that we're seeing right now.
Yeah, they're slow.
So this is probably a few hours too slow.
That's 90 minutes too slow. Yeah.
And then all this kind of pushes down to the south as we carry on into the early morning hours tomorrow. And then we'll wait to see where that boundary kind of sets up for some redevelopment.
I know they got a chance for severe tomorrow. I think it's a lot less.
Yes.
I think flooding tomorrow could be a problem in the southern part of the state.
Yeah.
I think the main show is tonight.
I agree. Yeah. So what John is talking about, you may have seen the SBC outlook for tomorrow. Might have some wind, but as we were talking about, the rain and any kind of training.
Yeah, it's not a tornado
as
threat.
As things really slow down, that's going to be an issue that we see tomorrow. And in fact, we can pull up excessive rainfall. So this is the outlook for today. Obviously, down in the Gulf, they're dealing with Arthur.
Yeah, they finally named it, yeah.
Yep, and then tomorrow, I know this is a wide view, but you can kind of tell there's still that slight risk.
I'll tell you, tomorrow night in Atlanta, if you're flying to Atlanta tomorrow night, it will not be pretty. If you can change your flight, I would not be flying through Atlanta tomorrow night. So.
I'm just looking at an update.
Yeah, the tornado watch. They're going to go tornado watch through 9Z. Along and north is 64. Oh, wow. And Hancock and Meade. That's a great idea.
Yeah. So
we agree.
That here soon.
Well done.
Yeah, we'll be getting that here soon.
Yeah.
So let's take you back to radar here just so we can show the folks what we're talking about. So, things you might be like, where's the rain? I'm in Louisville. Where's the rain? It's windy outside, but we're doing okay. But take a look at what's just off to our north.
Bedford, I'm telling you. Bedford, you got an hour. Please, if you're listening to us up there, that storm, they're going to put a tornado warning out eventually.
He's talking about, yeah,
That
the storm near
right there,
Robinson, right on the
Yeah, it's
state
in the
line.
Wabash River Valley, and it's moving southeast. Can you get what do they got movement on
Yeah,
there?
let me.
Are they going 40?
East at
Oh, it's 55. Yeah, you got an hour in Bedford.
Yeah.
Hour and 20. So that storm, barring some miracle, I hope there is a miracle, but I think they'll be putting out a tornado warning in about an hour for Bedford. So that's one of our bigger communities in southern Indiana. So
Yeah.
up there near Spring Mill Park.
11:11.
Yeah, that's one.
This is estimated time, guys. So obviously,
Yeah,
always
that's
take that
one
with
to
a grain of
really
salt.
watch. The lightning on that is really prolific. That's usually a good indication it's rotating in this environment. And then there's stuff behind it over by Effingham. That will
Yes.
be a problem for Paoli and Salem. And look at all that stuff coming to Illinois. That's our game. The stuff you see right now in southern Indiana, a lot of that's going to push off to the east.
Yeah.
And that's going to go up towards Cincinnati. If you're in Cincinnati, what is that interstate? 74. That's the ugly drive tonight, and those are going to be a problem for Cincinnati. But the stuff that's going to bother Louisville is back in Illinois. Effingham, I don't know all these little towns, east of St. Louis, and they'll be moving off to the east. That eventually will get down into our locale and be bothering us all for the several hours tonight.
Yeah. So the other thing I do want to talk about, of course, I kind of mentioned it, flooding. So, I mean, this looks like some torrential rainfall as well. Like, obviously, the embedded rotation, some serious worries there along with the strong wind threat, but also you're noticing all these deep reds and just these clusters of storms that are moving over the same spots. So be aware that we already do have some flash flood warnings in the yellow on the backside of where the current tornado and severe thunderstorm warnings are in southern Indiana and central Indiana over into Illinois. And that could be a problem as we carry on into tonight and into tomorrow. That will start to push down to the south as well.
Now, you saw Mallory looked at the flood outlook a couple of slides ago. Look at Illinois. When those supercells were forming one on top of another, they got all those flash flood and aerial flood warnings over Illinois. So that could be a problem if that stuff in east of St. Louis congels. We could have a flooding problem tonight.
Yes, yes. So we always say turn around, don't drown. And now is the time to just, recall where your safe place is. And as we've been saying time and time again, having those multiple ways to receive weather alerts, especially at night. And you're noticing the purple there. That's where they either have confirmed or considerable threat, I guess.
So all you Louisville parents who kids, if they're studying at all this summer, doing any work at Bloomington, IU, they're going to get they got a severe out right now.
Yeah.
They're not a tornado. They got a north side tornado on the northern one. That's the one to really watch.
Yeah, this one back here. Yep.
That'll be the problem.
So we might be talking about that during the 11 o'clock newscast.
Yeah, Doug, we may be interrupting you, unfortunately. That one, and then if you look to the west, some of the models are trying, if you notice the high res that Mallory was showing, are trying to congeal that line, and you can kind of see there's a few different cells, and through time there it goes, that whole area in Illinois may congeal as it moves off to the east-southeast at 50 to 55, but it's moving more east than it's moving south. That's why it's going to take some time.
Yes.
Although I'm a bit surprised. It's much faster than what we were led to believe, wasn't it? Just a little bit, maybe about an hour?
Yeah, I thought, I was like, our most counties might get clipped around 11-ish. You always give or take an hour or
Ish,
so.
we like ish.
Yeah, ish. But the main show, we were like 1 a.m. to about 6 a.m. So this one is speeding up a bit, but as John mentioned, it's going to take a while.
It's going to take a little time. I think southern Indiana is the main threat for the next 2.5 hours.
Yes.
2.5, 3 hours. So it's 10, 14 till I would say almost 1 o'clock. The main show, I don't think you'll see anything in Kentucky, honestly. I think it's all along the north of the river.
Yeah.
At least, stuff up by Cincinnati, but not in our viewing area here.
Yeah, I agree with you.
That one, look at the rotation on the one by Effingham. The one in Effingham back there, it's got tremendous lightning surge, and that's always an indication with wind shear of a tornado environment. So those are the two nasty storms that we don't want to be in any of our communities.
Right, right. So this is why we have that weather impact alert. It's why we've been really emphasizing that you have multiple ways to receive alerts as they do come out. And, at this point, we're just waiting for my system to catch up with the new tornado watch that has been issued. There we go.
Yeah, that's about what we said a few minutes ago. Louisville northward. Counties are not square. That's why you're always going to see some unusual advisories, watches, warnings, because we don't, in Colorado, they're square. They're not square here.
Yeah. So that's.
They were square in Arizona, weren't they?
They were very large in Arizona.
Big.
Yeah.
They were big.
There were like 10 counties.
Yeah. So that goes till 5.
5 a.m.
So I think the main show, I know they've got the slight way down. Yeah, Columbia, you couldn't have a problem, or Campbellsville, Litchfield, but I think the main show is along and north of 64 tonight.
Yeah, I agree. And that's been pretty steady, even though things have obviously been fluctuating. You know, as we've been mentioning the outlook, it changes each update depending on what's going on. But it's important that you just stay weather alert regardless.
So if you're in Bedford, Jasper, Paoli, Salem, Seymour, Scottsburg, Madison, Hanover, and Clifty Falls, one of my favorite places, I'm telling you, please have a couple ways to receive warnings tonight, because there will be tornado warnings tonight. There really will be. And there's a lot of wind shear, and there's a lot of instability still, and the moisture's still coming up. And there they go. That's that area.
Well, speaking
Can you zoom in or no?
It looks like we now have a new tornado warning for the tip of Jackson County.
Okay.
So, Jordan, behind the scenes, if we can cut into TV coverage whenever we get a chance. So thank you all for joining us on streaming. Now that we do have, even if it's just a corner of our coverage area included, we are going to cut into TV coverage here soon. So I'm just going to get squared away here. Joining us, we do have a severe weather cut-in here because we do have our first tornado warning of the night, and it's right in the northern sliver of our viewing area, the northwest portions of Jackson County. But this will be a good update for those of you all who are watching on the TV side of things. We've been streaming since 10 o'clock on WHAS 11+, and thank you all who are continuing to tune in from there. But once again, we do have a tornado warning until 10:45 Eastern Time. You're seeing that here on your screen. So you'll notice this activity, it's been coming from the Bloomington area. And previously, the National Weather Service in Indianapolis issued a wide range or a large size severe thunderstorm warning. And now they went ahead and issued a tornado warning downstream. So this is for central Monroe County, that's north of our area, southern Brown County, southwestern Bartholomew County, and also northwestern Jackson County in south central Indiana until 10:45. So at 10:15, a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located near Bloomington, moving east around 45 miles per hour. And you'll notice this polygon here is that in general, things are moving kind of eastward, but they're also starting to sink a little bit southeastward. So that's why we're seeing just this sliver of this county here included in this tornado warning. But if I do zoom out, this does give you a good idea of what we are looking at this evening. So you'll notice the greens, those are flash flood warnings, the yellows, severe thunderstorm warnings, and the reds are tornado warnings. So most of Kentuckiana not included in any warnings at this time, but we do have just that sliver of northwestern Jackson County included. So we did want to cut in here on the TV side of things. And anytime you're included in a tornado warning, it is imperative that, of course, you head to your tornado safe place, lowest level of your home, away from windows, and wait out the storm as it rolls through. Because some of these storms we've been seeing pretty much between Indianapolis to around Bloomington, And I just knew that some of these were going to cut right into some of our northern counties here, just kind of slice right by them. Because I'm here with meteorologist John Gordon. He'll kind of chime in from time to time as he analyzes radar, but counties are not perfect squares. So as these storms move, you know, certain counties can get kind of sliced into. So that's what we're seeing. But as I mentioned, there's been several warnings between Indianapolis and some of our northernmost counties. So we're talking Lawrence, Jackson, Jennings counties, where these storms are really tapping into some of this rotation, and they've had some impressive radar signatures at times, and that's what you're seeing. It looks like right there, right over Bloomington, John. So you're seeing the Cedar Creek, the bright blues, bright greens.
Yeah, Bloomington right now, folks. If you have any of your relatives or family in the Bloomington area, you need to seek your shelter right now. There's 2 areas of rotation right on the northern side of Bloomington, and they are moving to the east-southeast at about 50 miles an hour. But there's rotation right there in town, right near the campus. So torrential rainfall, could be a tornado in there. It's almost rain-wrapped.
Yeah.
It's totally changed form in the last 15 minutes. Torrential rainfall in Bloomington right now.
Just look at that. So this is one of those storms where, you know, you can't try to go outside and see what this looks like. Get to your safe place. There's a lot of lightning. It's probably very loud. And as John mentioned, torrential rainfall. So when we talk about rain wrapped, you're not going to be able to see that tornado out there. So we just want you to be safe and head to your safe place. Once again, this is due to that tornado warning for northwestern Jackson County until 10:45. And then if you have any friends just to the north of there's other multiple tornado warnings that have been issued as well. And we're also watching, it's important to just kind of give you an update here, even if you don't live in northwestern Jackson County. I know that's just a slim sliver really of our viewing area, that we pay attention to these storms off to our west. And as we were doing our stream, we were talking about this one moving across the state line from Illinois to Indiana, around Robinson, Illinois, moving towards Stockton, Indiana. This one had some impressive rotation as well, and as it hangs together, it would move closer to Lawrence County. And then you'll just kind of notice on the back sides of these, more of these storms that are continuing to develop. And really, it's these storms that are all the way out here in western Illinois. This is what we're going to be watching to be moving into much of Kentuckiana still later tonight. So I know it's, 10:22. Hey, that's ahead of schedule. And some of these storms are a little ahead of schedule for our northernmost counties. But it's going to take some time for all of this to roll through here tonight. So even if you're not included in any of these warnings right now, we did just get newer watches from the National Weather Service. So the original one was for our Indiana counties, including Lawrence, Jackson, and Jennings counties. And now we have ones that have been issued farther to the south, so including the Louisville Metro, kind of along the 64 corridor and areas off to the north. And this one has been issued until 5 o'clock in the morning. So we're going to be tracking these storms for the next several hours, John.
Things. So the main rotation is just east of Bloomington. There's a lot of rotation, but torrential rainfall. I would not be surprised in the next hour they could get 2 inches of rain. There's a possible tornado on radar, would be about 5 miles east of Bloomington. It's moving off to the east-southeast at about 55 miles an hour. The warning that's just north of there, Mallory, is observed, radar confirmed, probably from a CC drop up there.
Yeah, that's I don't know if you all can tell from there's so much rain.
Yeah, it's the one that's
the purple outline.
Yeah,
so
the purple one.
Anytime we have that on within our system, it means observed.
The other one, Mallory said real quick, is on the Wabash. That is going to be a problem. If you hear my voice and Mallory's voice in Bedford, Indiana, that thing is coming towards you. You have 1 hour. They've been issuing tornado warnings for the last 2 hours on that thing.
Yeah.
So be prepared, it's coming.
Yeah, so this particular storm that we're watching that I just highlighted, that one's also in effect until 10:45 outside of our viewing area, but on its current track, it would be moving toward Lawrence County, including Bedford, Indiana, over the next hour. So Once again, the reason we are even cutting into coverage is that small little sliver that you're seeing there of Jackson County, northwestern Jackson County, due to this storm that's currently blasting through Bloomington, Indiana right now.
Yep.
With a lot of heavy rainfall, frequent lightning. This is going to be a loud storm. And some rotation with it as well.
Yep, it's moving right on the edge there in the northwest part, west of Seymour. It's, the rotation is between Seymour and Bloomington. It's now about 9 to 10 miles east of Bloomington. Bloomington continues, probably got hail up there, maybe an inch, just on the north side, and that's all moving to the east-southeast at 55 miles an hour. It's what we call a high precipitation, believe it or not. I can't believe this. It is very junky on radar. It's not crystal clear like it was before.
Right, yeah. So a lot of rain to contend with as well. And as we mentioned, that's going to also lend itself to a flooding risk for tonight as well. So even if you're not under anything right now, many of us are included in a tornado watch. If you're around Louisville, 64 corridor areas off to the north, and also a flood watch. So I'm trying to pull that up right now. You're noticing that here from 9 p.m. this evening through 9 a.m. Thursday morning. So these are torrential rainfall producers. There's a lot of moisture, and for some of these storms that are moving more so west to east rather than being more progressive and just kind of blasting through here, that can lead to heavy rain, that can lead to localized flooding. So we always say turn around, don't drown. This flood watch was issued proactively due to the fact that obviously this event is also occurring overnight. So we do want everybody to be safe with that.
Some good news in the last couple scans, the rotation is not as strong. Right now it's a very strong wind threat. So if you, Nashville, right? Nashville, Indiana, Brown County. I think you might get 75 to 80 to 85 miles an hour in the next 4 to 5 minutes. Do you see that surge?
Yeah.
Just northwest of Nashville. That's a wind threat. That's bowing out. You can show the little bow if you want on your screen, but the thing is definitely bowing off like a bow and arrow, and it's heading right for Nashville, Indiana, right now.
Yes, and our producers just told me that they do have a view and earth cam of Bloomington, Indiana. So you're noticing obviously heavy rainfall,
Should see a lot of lightning
with that. Yes, so this is a big lightning producer. You know, this is moving through Bloomington right now and going to continue to push downstream with, at the very least, strong winds, heavy rain, frequent lightning as well. So once again, we are watching this current tornado warned cell that is moving into the northwest corner of Jackson County right now.
Yeah. Once again, on the radar, it's a classic signature of a bowing wind signal. There's a strong, I was just looking at, I love Radar Scope. It's $9.95 if you want to buy it at home. It's a great little tool to look at your radar. It's showing almost 80 miles an hour at about 2,000 foot off the deck. Off the ground. So very strong wind indication. Also the one that was a tornado before on the northern storm, that's a wind signature now too.
So these are kind of evolving a little bit from that couplet look to more of a bowing look.
Now the one that's, even though there's a tornado warning that goes up into the northwest part of Lawrence, that thing on the Illinois-Indiana border
this right here.
is a serious problem. That thing, I hope it weakens.
Yeah.
That thing looks like it's on the ground.
So this is around the Illinois-Indiana border. And I mean, just take a look at it on radar. So this is now east of Robinson, heading towards Stockton. And the reason we're talking about it is on its current path, it would track toward Bedford, Indiana here within the hour.
Yeah. And there's one behind that too, but one thing at a time.
Right.
The worst thing happens, what's going to eventually happen sometime probably between 2 and 3 a.m., all these will congeal into a line. But right now they're more discreet, they're by themselves, and they're very dangerous, the ones that are coming out of Illinois. The ones right now that we do have the current tornado warning on is bowing. It's a wind threat. It's surging from the west-northwest to the east-southeast. Nashville, Indiana, Brown County, beautiful place to go. The wind is a-coming. like
Yeah,
right
so-
now.
Yes, and it does look like they went ahead and issued a severe thunderstorm warning downstream for that wind.
Yep.
So you're noticing that here for Seymour, Indiana,
Yeah.
Freetown,
Smart move.
Jonesville, and then to the northwestern corner of Johnson County as well.
Yeah, the tornado threat, Bloomington, they cleared you. I was just going to say you're clear. Well, they've cleared you. I think the real tornado threat is way out there by the Illinois-Indiana border on that one cell that Mallory just spoke of. You've got a significant heavy rain, flash flood threat and wind threat in that whole area between Bloomington and Greensburg and Seymour and all those little communities.
So here's a new severe thunderstorm warning that's issued downstream from the tornado warning. The reason we went on air here early for that northwestern, just little corner of Jackson County. This is now moving through Jackson County and portions of Jennings County until 11:15 due to the strong winds that John keeps talking about here. So due to this storm that's currently pushed through Bloomington, I believe we might have a camera up near Nashville, Indiana as well. So that's kind of there on the border between the tornado warnings and the severe thunderstorm warnings. Looks like just very heavy rainfall for the camera, frequent lightning that we have in that general area as well. And this is an earth cam that we're bringing to you there up in Nashville,
Nice.
Indiana. So
Yeah, don't see a tornado threat in the last couple minutes. For our communities that they did, the tornado is still up there for Northwest Lawrence, but right now the threat is wind. I do not see any rotation. There's 2 surges of wind actually between Bloomington and Seymour. No tornado threat at this moment. A lot of lightning, heavy rain, and a lot of wind. And even the hail's come down a little bit. It's really changed. It's morphed in the last 20 minutes.
yeah, just since we popped on here. And then as John keeps mentioning as well, this one storm that's back near the Illinois border, that just has been a nasty storm to look at in terms of kind of potential
There's
rotation.
2 back-to-back. One is just east of Effingham, which is where Interstate 70 and 57 meet. And that one just needs to be watched. And the one looks like it's recycling right now,
Right.
which is good. I hope
it's
it
down
weakens.
for now.
We don't want that to head to Bedford.
Right.
So.
Currently looking at NWS chat just to see if there's any updates there. I do want to reiterate the watches that we're under for tonight. So first, we can talk about the tornado watch, which this is also kind of scrolling at the bottom of your screen. Tornado warning, of course, takes precedent, but when there's not a tornado warning, you'll also see those tornado watches when they are issued. And the one that was issued earlier this evening, several hours ago, that was just for our 3 northern counties, Lawrence, Jackson, Jennings counties in southern Indiana, because those are out of the NWS Indianapolis office. And now we just got the update from the Louisville office, which kind of fills that in a bit.
I tried to get this changed for years. I failed.
It's okay.
Yeah.
You know, it makes sense with the timeline with how we had storms moving into our northernmost counties first and then continuing to push southward. But I know many of you all probably wanting that update before you try to get some snooze tonight. You try to catch some Z's as well. So what we're looking at here, tornado watch. Once again, this is until 5 a.m. That's for all the counties that you see in the pink or the reddish color there. And then off to the north, it will expire a little bit early once the storms that we're seeing tonight roll through.
My guess is those 2 tornado warnings, the one that's just west of Columbus, Indiana, and the other one that we are on the air for right now, my guess is they will drop those to severes. You already have that giant severe already. The one on the north side will probably get a severe going east. I believe these tornado warnings will expire and not go east until we get the stuff coming out of Illinois.
Yeah, so this is kind of the first round for tonight. And, you know, anytime you see these more individual cells,
they're never good.
That's when we have to worry about the rotation. And when things kind of congeal into a line, it usually translates into more of a damaging wind threat with potentially some embedded rotation that's trickier to handle, but it's usually a little bit weaker and doesn't last as long, at least in general. and we start to see the kind of that heavy rainfall threat
So
as
one
well.
thing we look at is the base velocity. What's the wind right off the surface, not counting for rotation. And there is a huge surge of wind. It's going through Brown County right now, just south of Nashville. I don't know that county as well as I should. State Route 46. If you're on that road, you are getting shellacked with wind. And Mallory can show you on the thing. There is a lot of wind right in there.
Yeah, so that's just north of Jackson County here. And as John mentioned, just a lot of wind.
And they just put a new severe out, like
Did
I
they?
thought. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So lots of wind here, continuing that severe due to the strong winds downstream that we're going to see there.
Yeah. I don't think they're going to continue that too, but you got two distinct surges of very strong winds. And the first thing I think about is I-65. So if you're on I-65 going north or south, it will not be pleasant between around the Columbus and Edinburgh, where the shopping outlets are, Taylorsville, that down to Seymour. A very strong two surges of wind where winds could be 70 plus, honestly, especially the one that's just south of Nashville and Brown County. There's going to be trees down. No doubt about it. There will be trees down in beautiful Brown County.
Yes, so this is moving east, southeast around 45 miles per hour. Let me bring us back to the radar so you can just see also the amount of rain and wind that we're dealing with this storm. So, I mean, when we talk about torrential downpour, we mean torrential downpour. I mean,
really
this is very heavy rain, frequent lightning. At the very least, it's going to be very loud for our northernmost counties. So we're talking about Lawrence, Jackson, Jennings counties. The radar is filling in over you tonight. And the strong wind threat that we're seeing that's blowing from areas like Bloomington and Nashville, Indiana, moving into those spots like Seymour and also northwestern Jennings County as well.
Yeah, those warnings both go to 45 after, so we're down to about 8 minutes. And I don't think they're going to reissue those for tornado warnings. I don't think, but severes, you're going to see more severe thunderstorms, especially that big one you saw that Mallory pointed out, that's about the size of Rhode Island. Just kidding. It's a pretty big old warning, and that's got a lot of wind. They're covering two surges of wind.
Yeah.
You can see them on the screen.
These two right here.
Look at that. See the two? Yeah, right there. Both of those are screaming wind, especially the ones just southeast of Nashville.
Yeah, so I overlaid the warnings here, and it does look like where the tornado warnings in our system, it's a red box, and then your severe thunderstorm warnings are the yellow box. And so whenever you see typically a severe thunderstorm warning issued downstream, it means they're pretty confident that there's going to be a wind threat, not as confident that they're going to see that additional rotation. Yeah,
the rotation has really changed. It's just evolved. It's a wind signature with heavy rain. Yeah, that's the main threat right there. The other storm that Mallory and I have been alluding to is going through right now. It's recycling. So I believe there was a tornado on the ground somewhere in the Wabash. And right now it's trying to reform as we speak. It's getting a little better organized in the last scan. Bedford. You've got maybe an hour.
Yep, so this storm right here. Let me see the latest information.
What's the movement on that thing?
The movement, yeah. I feel like a lot of them, they've just been putting 45.
Yeah.
This one says 55.
I don't know, somewhere around 50. It's moving off east-southeast. So that's going to go in our, it's definitely coming. For sure you're going to get heavy rain and wind. Hopefully the rotation weakens off. It will be there. What time you got it in Bedford? You want to track it
This
for me?
one says 11:28. You know, it might be between 11:15 and 11:30, depending on where you live in Bedford. That's if it's moving 50 miles per hour. If it's moving 55, it might be a few minutes earlier than that.
So we may break in during the 11 o'clock. Who knows?
So once again, Lawrence County, we are watching this cell that's just crossed over into the Indiana side from Illinois.
Yep. Those two tornado warnings, I believe, are on their last. They're going to die here in 5 minutes. They can't expire them. The software doesn't allow them to get rid of it, so they'll just let it die. I don't believe you'll see a red box on that one go east. The rest of the area is just getting strong wind. I'm looking at the latest scan. Still a lot of wind. Not as bad as it was. Still a lot of wind on State Route 46, east of Nashville, heading towards I-65. A lot of wind, heavy rain. Not a good night to go driving and singing that song by Eddie Rabbitt, I Love a Rainy Night.
Yeah, so torrential rainfall, we have a flood watch, we have a tornado watch, we have a few severe thunderstorm warnings. Weather impact alert, that's why we had this issued for tonight. We just have a very strong storm system, a lot of wind energy that's not typical for this time of year. And that's why we really have to pay attention to these storms, especially when they're nocturnal. Because nighttime tornadoes, don't like them.
Yeah, they put a new tornado warning out on that storm. It's going closer to bed. Yeah, they're moving it further east. What's the new movement on the new one they put out? It's still 55. Where'd they go?
40. So it's slowed down.
Yeah, it didn't look 55. Both of us thought that.
I was going to say 55 is pretty.
Didn't look that way. So definitely the northern tier counties better be prepared. Lawrence, Jennings, Jackson, please be prepared for a possible tornado warning somewhere between 11:15 and 11:30-ish, somewhere in there.
Yep, so we're watching that storm
and
downstream.
Our storms are going to die here. The tornado warning will be gone in moments.
So reason we popped on here was due to this tornado warning that was issued for just that northwestern corner of Jackson County in southern Indiana. These storms very strong, moving out of Bloomington, Nashville, Indiana, and cutting toward Jackson County and Jennings County in southern Indiana as well. And at the very least, you have a severe thunderstorm warning in place for some strong winds. Also, a lot of heavy rainfall, frequent lightning with these storms that are rolling through tonight. So we say this time and time again, but there's a reason that we do reiterate and we really emphasize that you have multiple ways to receive severe weather alerts. Hopefully you've been charging your devices out ahead of tonight. Make sure that things are turned up loudly in case you do try to get some sleep tonight, because this is just the beginning of the storms that will be pushing through from north to south. Right now, they're more single cellular, or they're more out on their own. And as they are like that, as we see any kind of supercells, they can really tap into rotation and cycle up and down and create some tornado signatures. And then once they fuse more into that single line, that's when you're looking at something that transitions more to a wind threat with maybe some embedded spin-ups and also some heavy rainfall as well.
Yep. So we have the one storm with wind. It's actually showing a little rotation in the last scan. So
they just extended it.
Yeah, I just saw it. It just popped right up. It went from a wind threat and it's recycling. See the little gap there?
Yep.
And it totally, what we call it is a triple point. So the triple point is where a new cell will form and re-rotate on the southeast side, and that's what's going on. So there's a new tornado warning. That's moving off to the east-southeast, and Mallory will track it out there, but it definitely is heading towards I-65. I can tell you that, and it'll be just north of Seymour.
Yeah, so this is now in effect for portions of northeastern Jackson County and west central Jennings County. This is a new tornado warning that was just issued from the National Weather Service due to this severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado 7 miles southeast of Nashville, Indiana, or 15 miles southwest of Columbus, moving east at 55 miles per hour. And of course, they're saying east, but really it's southeast. And you can always tell the direction that these storms are moving in based on the polygon. So here it's like these storms are obviously moving in this direction because of how that polygon is moving. So let's take a look at it, and we can put a track on it. 55 miles per hour. Looks like it's where this little squiggle is. I know that's very scientific, squiggle, but you can also see it. Yeah, it's trying to tighten back up. After it bowed out, and then
it totally changed again.
Yeah,
very persnickety tonight.
Yeah, tighten back up. So I'm gonna put a cone on this and call out some areas.
Awesome.
So here is the tracker here, Mount Healthy 1051. Jonesville, 11 o'clock Eastern, 11:03 Seymour, 11:07 Fleming, 11:11 Four Corners. If it hangs together for North Vernon, it would be in that general area at 11:16. And this is if it's moving 55 miles per hour, which is a pretty quick movement there.
Yeah, 65 is going to go right over the interstate.
Yeah, 11:21 will be Paris. So I can kind of put this in the loop here. And as we mentioned, we were watching it showing more of a wind signature, bowing, and then
Boy, it just changed quickly.
Yeah, it tries to tighten right back up there.
Yeah. Yeah, that was smart of them to put a tornado warning out. Jonesville, I-65, really got to be prepared. It's got one little area where it's really trying to form right now. A lot of it is a wind surge, but there's one distinct area. I don't have any little town right there, Mallory. It's a small little community just southeast of Nashville, off of that State Route 50, whatever it is, 50. I can't read the map there.
I'll zoom into a few spots here that are showing up in my
Thank you.
system. We have Beck's Grove. I mentioned Mount Healthy included, Bobtown, Reading, Seymour, of course, Rosstown. So if any of those names come to mind, it's time to head to your safe place. We're watching this storm that's had a history of producing, at the very least, strong winds, and at the very most, these kind of rotational signatures that we look for when we try to spot any kind of tornado potential.
Yeah, one thing we look at is on this software, we look at the amount of rotation. It is maxing out in the last 2 minutes, right along that state route southeast of Nashville, right there.
Yeah, so you're seeing that here in velocity, wind speed, wind direction. So anytime we have bright greens, bright reds together, we don't like it. That means winds are strong and they're moving in opposite directions, which means that storm is trying to rotate.
Yeah.
So that's something that we.
I circled it on my radar scope. If you want to, you can see over there.
Yeah, the ROI computer. If you can bring that up at some point, that's what John will be working off for some radar analysis. And we can always take a look at that from time to time when we do have.
Yeah, there it is right there. Yep.
Yeah, so wind speed, wind direction, that rotation that we're seeing around Pikes Peak, Beck's Grove, heading toward Mount Healthy. So once again, we have a new tornado warning. This will take us through 11:15. Tonight as this storm continues to push to the southeast.
That's a good warning. And like they said, we've been hitting Bedford a lot in the last hour. Bedford, that storm coming out of western part of Indiana will be in Bedford by, I would think, by 11:20, 11:30, somewhere in there.
Probably by the time this one, either gets extended or however it evolves here.
It's going to be a busy night. If you're in southern Indiana, it's going to be a busy next 3 hours.
Yeah.
So
here's that big picture view of what we're looking at. I'll kind of give you some bearings for those who are in the Louisville metro area and who are also just in Kentucky counties as well. Things are quiet for you. If you look toward the north, you might be seeing some lightning. Otherwise, the heavy rainfall, these severe storms, they are currently rolling through our northernmost counties. So we're talking Lawrence County, Jackson County, Jennings counties. And a lot of these storms earlier this evening were hanging out just along and south of I-70. So, between Indianapolis and Bloomington, and then they're cutting just enough southeast now to be cutting into some of our viewing areas here at WHAS in our Kentuckiana areas. So once again, we're tracking these individual storms that are packing a punch with damaging winds and also some rotation that we've been mentioning. And that's why we do have several warnings in effect right now, including a severe thunderstorm warning. But pretty much most of that has now been overtaken by this new tornado warning for northeastern Jackson, northwestern Jennings counties in southeastern Indiana, south central Indiana until 11:15.
Yeah, so a little bit of good news. The rotation is a little more broad, so the closer the green and the reds are together, like your faucet letting go your bathtub, that's more indication of a tornado. Right now, it's a little broader, which is good. It's got another wind surge. it was really weird. That strong couplet lasted for about 3-4 minutes, and now we're back to wind again. It's very fickle.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of wind. See that on the velocity?
Oh,
There's
yeah.
a lot of wind heading to I-65 between Columbus, Jonesville. Probably got, 5-6 minutes, and it's going to shellac I-65. Please be careful. If you can pull over north side of Columbus or Seymour, just give it a few minutes and let it go past, because they are really going to get pounded with wind. That's going to be coming from the west.
Yes.
And you're going north-south. That's not good for an empty tractor trailer.
Not at all. And as we've been mentioning before as well, just the amount of rainfall. So you've got
Very heavy rain.
a lot of wind, very strong winds, but also torrential rainfall. Anytime, obviously, you have reds on radar, I mean, we're talking heavy rainfall rates, efficient rainfall producers, and what we've been seeing behind some of these supercells that we had earlier tonight are flash flood warnings. Now, none of those are currently in effect for our area, but Terre Haute over into central Illinois, up near Springfield, Champaign, the green polygons that we're seeing here. So it's kind of that 1-2 punch of obviously some very strong winds, some potential rotation, a lot of lightning, and then your heavy rainfall threat as well. And because of that, we do have that flood watch for many of our counties along and north of 64 until 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. So please be aware of that. Always take flooding threats very seriously as well. Obviously, many of us are concerned and always more nervous about tornado threats for good reason, but
Especially at night.
flash flooding should also be taken very seriously. Hopefully you don't need to be out on the roads tonight. Stay at home.
So the main show right now, we have 3 things we're really concerned about. The one is the storm that's heading towards I-65. I know they have a tornado warning on it at Indianapolis, but right now it looks like a strong wind threat, maybe 75 miles an hour between Columbus and Jonesville on Interstate 65. Very heavy rain is our second big thing that Mallory just pounded, and correctly so. Flash flooding at night is never good. And the third one is this persistent supercell that came flying east of St. Louis and has been on the ground off and on, been rotating for about 2 or 3 hours now. And it's getting closer and closer to Bedford, and that warning is getting closer and closer to Jackson County. So be prepared for another tornado warning. It doesn't look as bad as it once did.
Not as bad.
Which is a good thing.
But we always have to watch these guys.
Positive wishes, positive energy, and prayers are working. Keep them up.
Yeah. We always have to watch these storms, though, because they can kind of become a little linear, and then they can...
But when you just look at this, first thing I look at is these storms got a lot of rain in them,
Yes.
a lot of water. And I don't want to drive in this. Right now, I-65, right now, show them the radar right by 65 there by Jonesville. Oh my gosh, there's a lot of wind.
Yeah, a lot of wind. I can put velocity back on here so we can see. I mean, the brightness of the colors, even if you at home don't really know exactly what you're looking at, bright colors on this kind of map, not a good sign.
That's right. A lot of wind and very heavy rain. The wind will be going sideways, and your visibility will go down less than a couple hundred yards.
I'm going to see if I can put up precipitation rate.
It's up near that truck stop. It's somewhere just north of Seymour. I think it's just south of Columbus, that rest area and truck stop there, or way station, excuse me.
Yeah. I mean, this is just an estimation, so I'm not sure how accurate this is, but, 5-minute rain rate saying, close to 4 inches an hour with some of these.
Torrential
rainfall.
It really is. So there's a lot of wind, folks, Columbus, Seymour. The good news is there's a break. If you just pulled over in Seymour or Columbus and waited 10 minutes, it will pay off immensely. Because there is a little break before the one. And Indy's got to make a decision, which I've been in there many, many, many times, what to do with that storm that's over there by Bloomfield and Linton, the one we've been talking about heading to Bedford.
Oh yeah, because right now it doesn't have anything on it.
Yeah, they gotta make a decision. And they're running out of time. And I've been there, and it's a terrible. There it goes. It doesn't look bad right now.
No, this one doesn't.
That's a wonderful thing.
Yeah.
Wonderful
so
thing.
The storm we were tracking for potential impacts toward Bedford, it's also taking a little bit more of an easterly orientation. It's still slightly southeast, but the main storm that we are paying attention to is still this one that's going to be moving towards Seymour, moving over 65, Jonesville. Heavy rain, strong winds, some signs of rotation, some cycling there that we've been watching. It's been tightening, loosening, tightening, trying to become linear and then tightening again. So we want you in your safe place because at the very least, we're talking very strong winds here until this is 11:15 Eastern time that this tornado warning does go out for. Once again, this is right on the northern edge of our viewing area, but it does include folks in Seymour. So northeastern Jackson County, northwestern Jennings County.
The good news for Seymour is the strongest winds are just on the north side of you.
Just to the north, right.
Yeah, you're gonna, Seymour is one of our bigger communities. Yeah, Jonesville.
Jonesville is right under the gun.
Jonesville, yeah. Jonesville, I-65, somewhere near that rest stop and way station, right in there. Very, very strong winds and torrential rainfall. I think that's the main show right there. Not much of a hail threat. And the storm that what we were worried about right now is weakened significantly. That's a wonderful
that's great
thing.
To see. Yeah.
Great news.
So the storm that John's talking about is this one that we were paying attention to off to the west. That was, I mean, it was not good looking near Robinson. It had a tornado warning on it as it passed over into Indiana and continued towards Stockton, and we were watching it for potential impacts for Lawrence County, so up near Bedford. So main show is Jonesville, I-65. And then when it goes east of there, actually North Vernon will probably be in, they're going to have to issue that severe further east. That's going to have to be expanded for
So
sure.
North Vernon, you're going to be under severe for sure. It's coming. You're not there yet, but it will be before you know it. So
So I just put a line on this or a cone in terms of potential track if it's moving 50 miles per hour. Jonesville, 11:03. So here in the next few minutes, and then North Vernon by 11:21. So that's after the 11:15 warning that's currently out for the tornado, and also the severe, I believe. So we'll see that likely issued down.
My guess is they won't, even though we had that brief 3 or 4 minute rotation, I think they'll go severe and they won't toward this one again, unless something dramatically changes, Mallory.
Yeah. So let's kind of give a big picture view, show everybody what we're looking at here. If you live in Louisville, Kentucky, in general, in any of our Kentucky counties, things are quiet right now. All this activity is in our WHAS 11 viewing area off to the north. So we're talking Lawrence County, we've been paying attention to Jackson and Jennings counties. And we popped on air because we were watching a storm that was around Bloomington, Indiana, cutting into Nashville, Indiana, and it had a tornado warning on it, just moving into the northwestern corner of Jackson County. And we've seen it evolve. It's changed from some rotation to more of a straight line wind threat to back to more rotation, and a lot of heavy rainfall, as we've been mentioning throughout this cut-in, a lot of lightning as well. So these are very strong storms, torrential rainfall right over 65 right now, frequent lightning as well, and as we mentioned, at the very least, very strong winds. So
the Storm Prediction Center put a little mesoscale discussion that's kind of in for all the weather weenies. And they're still very concerned about tornadic supercells, basically in southern Indiana, going into central Illinois. One of the things we worry about is what's called the low-level jet, which is winds just off the surface. And there's all these strong winds pushing just off the surface with a lot of moisture, and they're interacting with this wind shear, and that's a bad combination, isn't it, Mallory?
yeah, we don't like to see that.
So I think the threat for the next 2.5 hours is southern Indiana and Illinois. So basically along the north of the river, and going back, look at that mess all the way east to St. Louis, from Effingham, that's on the border of Terre Haute and north of Vincennes, and then across our northern part of our viewing area right now.
Yeah, so we're seeing that redevelopment there, and I know a lot of folks think, you know, we were talking about this in our live stream. When the sun goes down, we lose the storm fuel, but this kind of setup
Doesn't matter if we have cloud cover.
It doesn't. And, you know, we have so much wind energy, as John mentioned, and you might have heard the wind gusting outside of your window, even here in Louisville or southern Indiana, even if you weren't under any kind of storm warning in the area, because we just have all this wind that's coming in from the south. It's ushering in more moisture, more fuel, and we were talking about this during our live stream. Dew points. So these dew points are impressive. Louisville's dew point, John, has gone up to 68. So
yeah, we were 62 at like 9 p.m. and now we're 68. It's just crazy. It's just absolutely crazy.
John and Mallory, I just wanted to jump in real quick. Just came in from the newsroom as we coming on here at 11 o'clock where you're watching our continuous coverage. I want to go back to you both to pinpoint on Metro Louisville. Our crews in the newsroom are right now making calls to those folks up in southern Indiana, Seymour, to get any confirmed reports from the tornado warning areas. But as we go through the evening hours, do you see the tornado threat lessening for Louisville? And where do we stand with any of that storm system moving right in through the downtown area?
yeah, so a lot of that, really the greatest threat, and I know John can expand on this as well, we're still looking at Indiana as being our threat for that rotation that we're watching. It's just kind of this same corridor that we're seeing with these storms that are continuing to build in central Illinois over into central and southern Indiana as well. And then eventually these storms will work their way south.
Eventually is a good word.
It's going to take some time. It's certainly going to take some time tonight, but as they congeal, so when you see these individual cells, that's when you're dealing with more of that rotation or tornado threat. And when they start to congeal a bit, they typically turn into more of a wind threat, a heavy rain threat. You can still see some embedded rotation within the line, but it's not as much of a concern as these standalone storms that we've been seeing.
Yeah, I'll second that. I think, Doug, the main threat is along and north of the river. There's not a non-zero threat in Louisville, but the main threat is going to be especially our northern communities, our Du Bois, Washington, Orange, Jackson, Lawrence Jennings.
So this system is pretty much stayed true to what you all were concerned about hours ago, that once it started dropping close to this area, you said we'd probably see tornado watches, then warnings. I see all of that lightning on there. Is that another major factor on this storm tonight?
Lightning is major. That's certainly what we're seeing tonight, and lightning can be an indication of storm energy. And, you know, it can also show you if certain storms are strengthening or weakening, depending on how much lightning there is. So we have torrential rainfall, we have frequent lightning, and we have very strong winds that we're all watching with these storms. And, you know, the secondary threat that we're watching with this heavy rainfall is that flooding potential. And, you know, we were hitting this hard during our earlier newscast, the flood watch from 9 p.m. to 9 a.m. And that's still, of course, in place along and north of 64. And we have a new tornado watch as well, and I can pull that up for...
I just want to jump in while you're getting that, too, here at 11:02. Our crews, again, in our newsroom, have been talking to police dispatchers in the areas where you all had tornado warnings and watches. Seymour, Indiana, we just got off the phone with them. The dispatchers tell us that crews are out currently surveying the area around Seymour. No major damage coming in so far, just branches are falling. So that's good news. How does that report, John and Mallory, match up with what you all
that
see on
checks.
the live radar?
It's just north
Just
of
to the north.
Seymour. Yeah, Nashville, newsroom, call Nashville, Indiana. I'm telling you, they have got to have wind damage. That thing went flying through Nashville and Brown County State Park. I would not be surprised. There's a lot of trees down in that beautiful park. Seymour is just on the edge of this, Mallory, as that thing's crossing I-65 right now. And I think the main threat, I don't think it's going to get to Louisville for, good gracious, 2.5, 3 hours?
Yeah.
Will we hear it come through? Is it,
Oh, the wind,
Is it going to be much weakened by then? Will there be a lot of thunder and lightning in Louisville?
Thunder and lightning and
Thunder,
wind.
lightning, wind.
Garbage can alert. All your garbage cans tonight. I'm telling you, the winds are going to be howling.
Yeah. I told my husband not to put our garbage can out yet, so waiting for those
telling
storms
you,
to roll.
Ours hadn't been picked up in a couple of days. You can have it, John. It can come your way. So this thing is sinking slowly toward this area, but it has really almost stayed on a west to eastern pathway.
Yeah, so we've been watching a lot of these storms. Yeah, they're moving west to east and then slightly trending southeast. So that's taking them longer to move through the area. This is not a very progressive, quick northwest to southeast kind of line that we can sometimes get. And that's why this is going to take, through the overnight hours to see any kind of indication of these storms rolling closer to the river. But obviously the reason why we are still in continuous coverage here is due to this tornado warning until 11:15. So this is still for the northeastern corner of Jackson County and the northwestern corner of Jennings County until 11:15.
It's really, it's got the right signature on reflectivity, but the velocities, there's not very strong rotation. But you just look at that whole picture. I'm telling you, this is a flash flood event in southern Indiana. Just look at the train. You got from basically central Illinois all the way to Vernon, North Vernon and Vernon and Seymour. Very heavy rain in there. There's going to be flash flood problems.
Do you agree or disagree with the tornado warnings that have been issued for this storm, John?
Well, I know why they issued it, but it's weakened right now. It is definitely weakened. It was good. It looked very promising, unfortunately, for a tornado about 20 minutes ago, but it's definitely weakened.
That's great news, though.
It is great news.
Yeah.
We don't want tornadoes.
No, we don't.
Right. Yeah, we've been watching some of these cells, and the first tornado warning that we cut in for, it showed a sign of some kind of rotation, some kind of couplet there. Became more linear, still with very strong winds, which it's important to take severe thunderstorm warnings seriously as well, because some of these can get up to 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts. I saw some earlier outside of our viewing area up to 80-mile-per-hour wind gusts in Illinois. So those can do a lot of damage. They can do as much damage as a tornado. But, we've been kind of seeing this tighten and then loosen and then tighten, and now it's just kind of, it's a little junkier now.
I think they're going to let this one go, Doug. I just believe if anyone, for news reports, it's Nashville was the worst damage I have seen on radar at least. It was showing 80 miles an hour at about 1,000 foot off the ground. That's a very strong indication, a very strong wind, and I'm telling you the flood threat, if you look at some of the flood products, Mallory, I think flash flood warnings are coming soon, very soon.
Yes. So that's kind of the 1-2 punch with this system tonight is not only the wind threat, the tornado threat, but also, as we keep talking about, the heavy rainfall threat.
We talked to the Nashville, Indiana police. You were talking about Brown County, Indiana. So far, they're not able to pass along any information at this time. I don't know exactly how to read into that. But as you said, John, they were right in the thick of it. Again, earlier we reported Seymour, Indiana, which is squarely in the WHAS 11 viewing area. Dispatchers there are telling us crews are out still surveying, but no major damage.
I think they're going to let it go.
For Seymour.
Yeah, where we've been watching some of that rotation, just not as impressive now.
No, it looks like a flash flood.
Yeah, around Jonesville over to North Vernon, so.
Yeah. I think that warning will be expired, so if you're folks in Seymour, even though the severe comes down to you, I think the threat was up to the north of you.
How much rain are you talking about since you're worried about the flooding now? How much is coming down out of this? Can you tell?
Well, this is a product called rainfall rate. So it tries to figure out the instantaneous rate at which rain is falling. And this says, close to 3.5 to 4 inches per hour.
That's enormous.
So that's a lot. This isn't ground truth. This isn't saying, hey,
I think 2 to 3 inches is on the table for the
this
hour.
just gives you that.
And they keep reforming.
Yeah.
So they are training. They're rolling back over the same area?
Yeah.
Yeah, look at all that off to the northwest. So that is what's to come, and because it's taking kind of that east-southeast orientation and not just blasting through, it's going to continue to cause some flooding issues overnight.
You're going to see reports by dawn somewhere between Terre Haute, Bloomington, Seymour. There's going to be high water problems tonight.
We've been talking about the tropical storm down in the Gulf. Earlier when I was watching World News Tonight, Ginger Z was reporting that some of that moisture is now flowing up. That's why we're so humid here. Can that be the case with the way this storm system is moving?
A little bit. But we had the low pressure system brought all that warm air up today that Mallory was talking about. Our moisture, our dew point has gone up, about 9 degrees in the last...
Yeah, I can pull that up right here. So we're at 68 right now for our dew points in Louisville.
That's a lot.
But take a look just off to the west.
Oh my.
70s. So, and yesterday we had dew points in the 50s. So
it was gorgeous
It
yesterday.
was beautiful weather, low humidity, and we just had, you're feeling those strong winds outside, gusty winds, and they're ushering in that warmth and humidity that you need for these storms to.
And they're feeding
feed
all
off
these
of.
storms, and there's a warm front to the north of us where these storms are firing on, and we have wind energy up top from the jet stream.
Will this be fueling a rainy day tomorrow, or is this going to clear for us by sometime midday Friday?
Oh, Friday will be fine.
I mean, excuse me, Thursday.
Yeah, tomorrow, Louisville's kind of weird. I think Louisville will have some very sporadic rain. It's mainly south of Louisville during the day, don't you think?
Yeah, so we talked about this in our stream, but this model is trending a little too slow. But everything's going to try to push to the south tomorrow. But this boundary kind of stalls out a bit. So if we have kind of redevelopment, we're really tracking areas, I would say, along and south of the parkways, more so in south central
Yeah, I
Kentucky.
agree. Yeah.
The strongest risk really gets pushed down to the south. But we could get some activity. It's not going to be anything like what we're seeing tonight, though, in terms of our severe weather risk. Could have some gusty winds at times. Heavy rainfall that could lead to localized flooding will be more of a concern tomorrow, especially south, if we do get what we keep mentioning, training. So those are showers and storms that track over the same areas.
So here's some reports out of Indianapolis, Doug, for some counties up by Bloomington. Public source reported tree damage, power failures in Bloomington. I don't know all these counties. Greene County, a lot of trees down.
Well, as we know, Bloomington was hit hard. What was that, just a couple of months ago?
Yeah, during the
when
newscast we talked about.
It came very close to the campus of IU, did not hit the campus of IU, but there was some businesses just to the west of the campus.
That warning's got 4 minutes. They're going to let it go in 4 minutes. I don't think we'll have a tornado warning in mere moments. They can't expire it, in case you didn't know.
Where do we stand on our ground situation in Louisville as far as if we were to get a lot of rain coming out of this? Have we made up for our drought conditions here?
Yeah, and we've had some breaks in between some of these storms that we've had off and on over the last few weeks to where we'll be fine at first, but as with any of these storm systems, if you get enough heavy rain in a short period of time, you're going to have some localized flooding concerns. We tend to see that more so heightened in urban areas, when draining isn't the best. So that's still something that we have to watch, and that's why many of us from Louisville northward, we are at the very least included in this flood watch until 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. And in addition to that, we've also been talking about the tornado watch that was expanded. So if you were watching our newscast earlier this evening, we did have a tornado watch in effect for our northernmost counties, Lawrence, Jackson, Jennings, and hey, those were the counties that got hit first tonight. But what we're looking at here is how things have filled in. So National Weather Service went ahead and issued this now right along 64 in areas off to the north. And with that, this is in effect until 5 o'clock in the morning. So this lets you know that what we're seeing in our northernmost counties, as we keep saying, it's going to take some time to drift down to the south, but still looking at that best tornado threat in southern Indiana compared to Kentucky.
2 minutes and that warning will expire.
Yeah, so what John's talking about is this tornado warning that we've been watching off and on right on the northern edge of our viewing area that crossed over 65 with the strong winds, the heavy rainfall, the frequent lightning, and yeah, you'll notice here velocity is just not looking like it was.
Yeah, they're going to let it go. Will be no tornado warnings here in about 90 seconds. And then the storm that I was worried about that was coming towards Bedford, so the positive wishes and good energy work. That storm, believe it or not, is just a heavy rainer that's coming into the northwest side of the Jackson County. The storms of interest, there's a lot of storms of interest back to Illinois. So it's going to be a long night. I still believe the main threat is our northern 7 or 8 counties.
So John's talking about all this redevelopment here that we're seeing.
That's exactly right.
So you'll notice this is all kind of taking a similar track, moving east and then southeast.
It will start pivoting in about 2 hours. You'll see a more southeast movement. But for right now, this is a heavy rain threat across, and we'll be out in about 30 seconds. You should have no tornado warning.
So was there any confirmation of a tornado in Monroe County, Indiana, or anywhere near the Bloomington area? I know there was concern, and some cameras showed the tornado-producing storm there, but I don't see any confirmed.
Okay, the report in the chat is
There was damage, a lot of damage in Monroe.
entrapment and injury in progress on Buskirk Road in Monroe County, Indiana. That was from 20 minutes ago. Could
Yeah,
be from a tree down. There's not much information.
Yeah, it does look like the focus is up there, according to some of the official Facebook pages of the official government pages up there. Reports like law enforcement and first responders trying to respond to multiple areas north and west of Bloomington for tornado damage.
Yeah. And that warning's gone. Yep.
Yeah, so the worst of it has certainly been
Yep.
with that original warning that we were watching. That storm was coming out of Bloomington and Nashville, Indiana, moving into Jackson and Jennings counties, and had a history of producing damage that we saw with some large trees down in Monroe County, Indiana, and some siding and roof damage up there as well.
Yeah, you saw those? Okay, yes.
Yeah.
So are we clear of tornado warnings now for the viewing area?
Yep.
Okay. If you all would like to regroup, we can begin our newscast, touch base on the weather, look at forecast ahead, and to get some of our top stories. Okay, let's go ahead and do that. If we're okay to do that back in the control room, we're going to begin the WHAS 11 night team right now for the next few minutes. Stay with us. And welcome everybody here at 11:15. You are watching the WHAS 11 night team, and we have been under a tornado watch in Metro Louisville. We've had very windy conditions across the area. It's still warm, but no rain here yet. Look at the sky there. If we're showing you this Metro camera, you can see it sort of breaking up, but the clouds moving at a pretty good clip. But let's show you our live Max HD radar if you've been with us for continuous coverage here on WHAS TV 11 and WHAS 11 Plus. That radar really been lighting things up, especially to our north. Some of the most important storm damage we have been hearing about is around Monroe County, Indiana. That's the Bloomington, Indiana area again. So we're going to come on here with our newscast. Good to be with you. I'm Doug Proffitt as we do bring you team coverage now, continuing from our Chief Meteorologist Mallory Schnell and our WHAS 11 Extreme Weather Specialist John Gordon. We do want to begin with Mallory and talk about the tornado danger for this area and the remainder of southern Indiana, Mallory, as we go now through the evening hours.
Hey there, Doug. So yes, as you mentioned, we've been tracking these severe storms just in our northernmost counties so far. And these were the areas that were included in a tornado watch as early as earlier this evening. So we're talking Lawrence County, Jackson, Jennings counties, and these were clipped by a tornado warning about an hour or so ago. So kind of that northern edge of Jackson County moving into Jennings counties. At this time, we don't have any active tornado warnings, but we still are tracking a few severe thunderstorm warnings due to strong winds that are now east of Seymour. But we still have a lot of activity on the northwest side of this. So you're talking about areas like Effingham in Illinois and additional storms that are currently tracking over the same areas, and that can lead to not only, of course, the wind and tornado threats that we're concerned about, but also the bigger picture view of the flooding threat as well. Because at the very least, these storms have a lot of heavy rainfall, they have frequent lightning, they have gusty winds, and so once the wind and tornado threat rolls through, in addition to that, we have very high precipitation rates. So that leads to any kind of flooding potential. So tornado watches, we still have this one currently. This is for our northernmost counties until 1 a.m. But the one that we're seeing actually for areas down to the south, and I'm going to step off screen so I can show you that. This one has been issued for areas around 64 and areas northward until 5 o'clock in the morning. So we're waiting for all of that activity that's off to our north to sink down to the south and roll through here. So currently in Louisville, things are quiet, things are warm, things are windy. We have wind gusts of 33 miles per hour. The dew point, that has been increasing over the last just couple of hours in the upper 60s, and temperatures are still quite warm in the low to mid 80s right now.
You all been going around the clock. You started on WHAS 11 Plus at before probably 10 o'clock. Been on the air, so we want to talk a little bit about the evening hours. John, is it rare for us to have these kind of tornado threats now going in here to mid-June? We're 17 days into June. I don't recall a lot of tornado warnings in June and July.
This is an April pattern, right? This is April, and this is very unusual. It's going to be a busy night, folks. It's really going to be busy. We got a wind threat, tornado threat, and definitely a flash flood threat tonight.
So we worry about people who are getting ready to go to bed.
Right.
So the words you would tell people right now, we're not out of the woods yet. There are several hours to look out for coming.
Yeah, and this is why we keep reiterating and emphasizing have ways to receive alerts. You know, I know you want to go to sleep, I understand, but we want you to make sure you have the information that you need. WHAS 11 Plus app. And also, you know, there are multiple ways to receive alerts. A great way is the NOAA weather radio. Make sure everything's just charged, turned on loudly in case we do have additional warnings overnight, because at the very least we have some strong winds, we have heavy rainfall, severe thunderstorm warnings, flash flood warnings, and potentially some additional tornado warnings as well.
Now, great folks in the newsroom have been busy. They've been on the phone. The report coming out of Monroe County, Indiana now is they're telling us they have nothing there in certain areas, I think, because as we know, there were reports north of Bloomington. Also, Indiana State Police Bloomington say they do have tree and roof damage. So that at least matches up with a lot of what you all
That
saw.
storm between Bloomington and Nashville, there's definitely damage in there. No question about it.
A lot of wind.
Do you expect these storms, John, to fire up again tonight? I mean, are we going to maybe talk about the threat going down, go to sleep, and then all of a sudden something pops again?
Okay, so there's two different threats tonight. Threat one is basically north of the river. Heavy rain, tornado threat, wind threat. When that line comes to Louisville, it is a wind threat. We got about 20, 30 minutes of incredible wind and heavy rain.
So if you're just joining us, the warnings, tornado warnings, have been dropped. That's why we're on the air with our newscast. And that's what we're going to continue to just keep going through the night. We'll take ABC programming, Jimmy Kimmel at 11:30, but you all will drop in if you need to.
We'll be here tonight watching it. We have our morning team that kind of tag teams in here to keep an eye on things. And as we mentioned, we still have a tornado watch until 5 o'clock in the morning. So
all that stuff in Illinois is coming our way. Look at your favorite weather app. I'm telling you, there's more to come.
We know what the favorite weather app is.
WHAS 11.
Okay, John, the extreme weather specialist. Thank you both. Well, now more of the top stories live right now. We're going to take you to the construction zone. The great I-65 shutdown is now on day number 17, and you can see the lights are up. There is some activity there, even though they are trying to get work in before the storms move into Metro Louisville or any rain. Well, the state announced this week that demolition of the 3 overpass bridges is now finished. Now all they're doing is rebuilding from here on out. WHS 1119 producer and drone pilot Jordan Kelleher brings us the brand new video tonight.
Liftoff with the Sky 11 drone. Now more than 15 days since construction started on the Great I-65 shutdown, we are back over the Bradley Avenue exit off I-65. This takes you right to the heart of the U of L neighborhood when you get off the interstate. It's about 4 miles south of downtown. Take a look down below. We counted 1, 2, 3, 10 new steel beams now in place, with more to go. Flashback to our drone coverage from day number 1 of the shutdown. That's June 1st, and this is what we viewed. Then, 5 days later, on June 5th, we came right back. We flew again. A big difference. Good weather has been helping keep the project on time. Now back to 17 days later. No more demolition. That's all over. The reconstruction phase is now underway. As you can see, busyness down below. Construction crews working to beat the storms coming in.
And the first stage of construction will replace 3 overpass bridges from downtown to the Waterson. In all, 9 of them will be replaced. We'll be back with more weather coverage for you coming up right here on the Night Team. Stay with us. So now we're going to run down the latest alerts for you here at 11:25 after a very busy night for southern Indiana. We're still waiting for the storm's approach into the metro Louisville area, if it'll get here at all.
It's going to take a few hours.
Patience, it is coming.
Yeah.
Southern Indiana is under the gun, so to speak, for the next several hours. Louisville, maybe 3:30-ish?
Yeah. A lot of the model data has been favoring sometime between about 3 and 4 a.m. for the Louisville Metro. So what we're tracking tonight so far has been right on the cusp of our northern viewing area, Lawrence, Jackson, Jennings counties. So where we cut in for earlier today, that was in the northwestern corner of Jackson County or northeastern corner of Jackson County at some portions and into Jennings counties, basically the far northern reaches of our Kentuckiana viewing area. Now the satellite and radar here, you're noticing the general trend. A lot of this has been moving from west to east. There's been a slight southeastern trend with a few of these storms, and eventually they will carry more of a southerly flow there and move into our area. But with this kind of pattern here, that's when you really start to see flooding threats ramp up. And that's the other side of this storm potential that we're watching. Of course, severe weather outlook, you've likely been seeing this change with each update throughout the day today. But what's important is that everybody is weather alert, especially if you live north of the river, and I'd say especially in general, north of the 64 corridor. That's where your greatest tornado threat is. And then we're watching for a strong wind threat and then also a heavy rainfall threat for all of us. So this flood watch that was issued earlier today continues 9 p.m. this evening through 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. In addition to that, we do have the tornado watch. So at first it was just for these northern counties, Lawrence, Jackson, Jennings counties until 1 a.m. And then the National Weather Service Louisville office chatted with the neighboring offices and the Storm Prediction Center and brought it down south right around Louisville metro area, 64 northward, till 5 o'clock in the morning. And that's what we were mentioning, how the storms won't even be moving into Louisville until closer to about 4 a.m. But Max HG radar here, really the strongest storm that we're seeing is now moving out of Jennings counties. There it looks like it's bowing a little bit with the severe thunderstorm warning. Otherwise, we're just seeing heavy rainfall kind of in that northern edge of the Kentuckiana viewing area. But we keep talking about additional storms that are off to the north and west that will continue to track that direction and that do bear watching for a wind potential, for a rotation potential, and on top of all that, heavy rainfall and frequent lightning. So John and I were mentioning dew points have greatly increased from lower 60s to upper 60s in Louisville, 70s off to the west. So there's a lot of moisture there. And temperatures have held pretty steady thanks to winds that have been gusting and the cloud cover as well. Temperatures are in the 80s still in Louisville. So wind gusts, you've likely been hearing the wind kind of whistling outside, even if you're not included in any kind of severe storms. That's all ushering in all that warmth and some humidity as well. So the storms that we're tracking off to our north will eventually make their way southward later on tonight, 3:30, 4 o'clock, and then continue their journey down to the south tomorrow morning. We'll watch for any kind of redevelopment, a little bit messier tomorrow, not nearly as strong of any kind of severe threat, but we'll have to watch for some gusty winds at times and for any kind of flooding potential until all this moves on out and we finally get to enjoy some dry time on Friday. So here's that 7-day forecast, watching the overnight storms, of course, and into tomorrow, and then we'll watch for that scattered activity throughout the day. Friday and Saturday, much quieter. Get out and enjoy that break in the weather. And then we could be tracking another round of rain by Sunday and into Monday.
All right, once again, joined with our extreme weather specialist, John Gordon, former head of the National Weather Service in Louisville. So we're going to hear these storms when they come through at 3 and 4 in the morning?
Yes, it'll be very loud, a lot of lightning, a lot of heavy rain, and I think wind at least 50 to 60 miles an hour.
So that'll be quite the impact for the morning rush hour, I'd imagine. Mallory, how would you paint the picture of what people should expect on the road?
Right, so if the timing holds up, we're talking about 4 a.m. Tomorrow for the main line of storms. Obviously, if it slows down or what have you, that could impact. But at the very least, you know, depending on what flooding looks like overnight, we could still have ponding on the roads. If we have strong winds, might be some branches here or there. So if you leave the house early, if you're an early commuter, just take it a little bit slower, allow yourself some extra time just in case there is standing water or any kind of debris, unfortunately, or flying trash cans, as we were mentioning earlier as well.
Yeah, I'm being serious about that.
That can
It's a big deal, yeah.
So we've talked a lot about this tropical storm coming ashore in the Gulf states and that. Is that going to impact our weather later this week? Could we have another round of this that we need to watch out for?
No, I think if you're flying to Atlanta tomorrow night, it's going to be a disaster in Atlanta with Arthur heading that way. It will not be pretty. If you've got a Delta flight tomorrow night in Atlanta, it may be delayed.
So here's the plan for you tonight. Our team's going to continue on WHAS 11 Plus right after we sign off here at 11:35 on WHAS 11 TV. And so continue to watch weather coverage there. They'll take you right up to midnight and beyond if you need to.
Yes, and of course, with any kind of tornado coverage, we'll always cut into coverage right here on WHAS 11 News. So make sure you have multiple ways to receive weather alerts, stay safe, and hopefully you can get some sleep tonight.
All right, thanks for joining us on the night team tonight. Stay safe tonight.
Good evening. Chief Meteorologist Mallory Schnell here. Thanks for sticking around for our streaming coverage here on WHAS 11+. We hopped on at first at 10 p.m. For just kind of an update, and then we started to have tornado warnings that filled in our viewing area here in Kentucky, and specifically in southern Indiana, right on the northern edge of the counties that we do cover here at WHAS 11 News in Louisville, Kentucky. And we're still tracking showers and storms on the radar, of course, tonight. If you've been watching our coverage, whether it be online or on the TV, we've been talking about how this is, going to be a long night because we're tracking all of this storm activity off to our north and northwest that will slowly make its way southward through the early morning hours. But first, I do want to zoom into a few of these storms that we have been watching off to the north that carried a tornado threat at times this evening. We were watching areas around Bloomington, getting close, but just north of Seymour. This storm is now in North Vernon and will be moving out as well. They still have a severe thunderstorm warning on that, probably, I would assume, until about 11:45 or potentially, 11:45 here due to 60-mile-per-hour wind gust. This storm was originally near Seymour and has been moving through northern Jennings counties and is moving east at 40 miles per hour. So that's one of the active severe thunderstorm warnings. And then also this is what we keep talking about, how it's just right on the northern edge of our counties here. So northern edge of Lawrence County, northern edge of Jackson County, and then moving into the eastern side of Jennings County as well. So we've been watching not only the wind threat, but also the very heavy rainfall threat. We've been tracking a lot of very impressive rainfall rates on the radar tonight. So obviously, just by looking at this, a lot of reds on your map. That means heavy rain is falling, low visibility. You add that on to strong winds, you really lower your visibility. And in addition to that, we've had frequent lightning and also just some very strong wind gusts. So we have had a few tornado warnings in our area in that northern edge so far tonight, but at this point, they're all severe thunderstorm warnings.
Yeah, right now, there's no really indication of rotation in these storms. Like an hour ago, we could not say that, could we? We
couldn't, no. We were seeing rotation and then something that tried to become more straight line, linear, and then more rotation. So, you might see some brightness on your velocity, and that means you're seeing some strong winds. And because of that, they issue these severe thunderstorm warnings. But what you're really paying attention to when you're looking for any kind of tornado signature, it's greens and reds close together. They're bright, and it's called a couplet. And that just means that storm is trying to rotate.
The thing that's really interesting, if you look at if you zoom out and you look at the whole picture, the one thing you can see is that the northwestern part of those storms in Illinois is shifting ever so slightly more south and east than it was before. If you take any of those storms, they're definitely moving. You can see a southeastern movement, especially the one you see that's just southwest of Terre Haute. Look how that's moving more southeast suddenly.
Yeah.
So that's what we're waiting for, the pivot, if you will. And the pivot will bring this stuff to Louisville, good gracious, several hours from now, 4 hours from now.
Yeah, this is slow.
It's gonna be a long night.
These are slow movers, guys. So I know, sometimes we get the severe weather setups where it's like, hey, this is a quick line, it's rolling through, it's gonna pack a punch, and then it's gonna be on out. This is hours long.
Yeah, it's gonna take some time. So really, the threat for our viewing area right now is the northern 6 counties. There's no threat in Kentucky for many hours.
Yeah.
The old saying, you're waiting for the storm. Well, we are waiting for the storm, literally. Okay, what's going on. So you got storms basically along from Cincinnati towards Seymour, over to Vincennes and points to the north. The storms that we had when we came on the air at 10, really from Effingham to the Wabash, they were really rotating, and I thought we were going to have a problem in Bedford. Thank goodness they have for some unknown reason right now, they have been a little tapered. And we're waiting to see how that evolves. There's a lot of wind energy. There's a lot of moisture. And that's what we got to really see if any of these can start rotating. And I just looked, my successor, Kevin Deitch, is working the midnight shift.
Yeah, he told me that yesterday.
How about them apples?
Yep.
I'm really impressed, Kevin, if you can hear me.
Yeah, so the new meteorologist in charge of the National Weather Service, yes, he's in there tonight, keeping an eye on things, looking at some sounding data.
Nice interview yesterday.
Yes.
You did great.
We'll have that on Whether or Not tomorrow. So that's something.
A tease.
Yes, that's what we call a tease in TV. So be sure to tune in for that. But your Max HD radar here, yeah, we were watching these storms. And this one, so the one that I have zoomed in, so this is around Guthrie and areas off to the north.
Yep.
This is one that we were watching that was near the Wabash, that Robinson over to Stockton had a hook on it.
Oh, yeah.
It was
ugly.
rotating. It was not a good looking storm. And that's kind of straightened itself out there. So
Thank goodness.
we like to see that.
So
Now, go ahead.
Yeah, real quick. So Kevin, the boss of the Weather Service, just posted basically UPS planes have all this weather equipment on them. And there's something over Louisville which is very interesting. There's an inversion, a cap, a lid. So that, if that stays here, when that line comes through, it will just be a wind threat. There'll be a zero threat for us. So we just have to see how that evolves through time. But the wind and the heavy rain is really the main show.
Yes. So that's good news for the tornado threat.
Yeah, very good
but,
news.
you know, something that we keep talking about that we do want to emphasize, obviously tornadoes get people's attention for good reason. They're scary. We don't like them at night. We do not like them any time of day, but especially at night. But it's also important to take the heavy rainfall threat seriously as well. So we're seeing very impressive rainfall rates. If you're somebody who works an overnight shift, especially if you're in northern portions of our counties here, so southern Indiana, central Indiana. If for some reason you're traveling for vacation on the road and you're trying to get a head start, you know, please be careful out there tonight. Stay at home if you can, because we're going to be tracking heavy rain that can lead to flooding concerns. And you can see it on the radar here, these reds that you're seeing on the map, and this very slow movement that is not working in your favor. And we're kind of shocked that there's not more flash flood warnings right now.
I'll be honest. I think
am.
the Indianapolis office needs some flash flood warnings.
Yeah.
And the area would be near Bloomington, over to Columbus, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Show the rainfall measurements. Look at all that.
Yeah.
Red is never good on anything.
And I can pull up P rates. So this is a precipitation rate, a rain rate. And I was mentioning before, this is, you know, just an estimation, but when you see pinks, it's not good. No. It means that if it rained over the same area at that rate, you could be dealing with 3 to 4 inches of rainfall. So, you know, we're likely seeing at least 2 to 3, I would think, at some of these spots.
Yeah, somewhere in the Bloomington area, I know they had some high water for sure. They had 3 storms in a row that went through the Bloomington area over to Jonesville and Columbus. So I believe, especially at night, because you can't see very well, and suddenly there's all this water on these roads.
Right. Not a good combination.
Not a good
there.
combination.
And really, we do have another look at the Bloomington, Indiana camera. So they're getting kind of a break in between the storms right now, but take a look at that lightning. That's still, you can see from that camera.
Yeah.
So they had some strong storms roll through earlier. We were getting some reports out of, and I know this isn't in our coverage area here in Kentuckiana, but a lot of us have connections one way or another to Bloomington. People have kids who go to IU, and you know, it's just north of our viewing area. So Monroe County, there was a lot of tree damage, also some roof damage. I was seeing some siding damage as well on some homes.
Yeah.
So they'll be likely cleaning up, and we'll probably have more eyes on any kind of potential damage up there in the light of day tomorrow.
Yep, in Monroe County, they had several trees down and power outages.
Large ones.
From several people.
That's one thing I can look at. Power outages.
Yeah, I suspect there's going to be some numbers in the Bloomington area. Very heavy rain while Mallory's doing that. So it looks like the line is congealing a little bit. If you go from Muncie, Fishers, Indianapolis, over to Terre Haute, and just south of Effingham, I believe that's the beginning of the line, and that will congeal better through time and then start moving south and southeast. And then when it gets down to Louisville, maybe 3:30, 3:45 a.m., something like that. I know that's a long time, but that's what's going to happen. It's going to take its time.
Yeah, so if you're in Louisville right now watching this, get some Z's. Take a nap.
Go to sleep.
If you have storm anxiety, which I totally understand is a very real thing, get some sleep. Have your multiple ways to receive alerts. Have that NOAA weather radio. It's the best tool you can have. Those things are loud. They will wake you up in the middle of the night. And, you know, if we have anything where you would have to get to a lower level, even if it's just for strong winds, you're aware of it.
It is our opinion the tornado threat is basically Du Bois, Crawford, Orange, Washington,
Yeah, this.
Jackson, Lawrence, Jennings, Scott, Madison, and North.
Yeah.
I don't think there's much of a tornado threat south of there. I really do. I know we're in a tornado watch, but we're paid to give you our opinion. And our opinion is Louisville will have straight line winds and very heavy rain somewhere between 3:30 and 4 o'clock-ish in the morning. Very heavy rain and wind. If you're in southern Indiana, you definitely have a greater threat of tornadoes, and they're at night, which are not good. So right now, it is a wind threat
Yeah. So
and some
right now,
heavy rain.
Yep.
And lightning, a lot of lightning. Every time Mallory gets a webcam, there's prolific.
Prolific lightning.
There you go.
And I mean, look at this storm that's south of Effingham.
Yeah, that
Like,
thing's been lit up.
That is.
That's the one of all the storms
We'll have to
that's
keep an
got
eye
the
on this
most.
guy.
Can you tell me how much lightning's in that one?
I can. Let
There's
me
a lot.
put a little query on it.
Watch this. This is magic.
426 strikes in one storm.
Yeah, there's two. The one up to the
And
northeast
then
of
that
there.
one, yeah.
There's two that really stand out. That means they got more energy, they got more lift, more instability. Those are the two that probably the ones that we're going to be watching the most in the next couple hours.
Right. And right now they both have severe thunderstorm warnings on them. Not a big surprise there because as John mentioned, you can look for lightning as a sign as to whether or not a storm is strengthening or
right.
weakening.
Yeah.
Is there growing lightning? Is there less lightning with it? So that kind of gives you an idea. And we do have a power outage map, I believe, that we might be able to pull up for you to see where things are. If my producers can kind of give me more information on what we're seeing here, because I'm squinting at the TV, but let's see. More outages definitely in Indiana. So it does look like a lot of them are more so, it looks like in central Indiana. So they're zooming into Bloomington, and yeah, several reports of customers out there. Not a big surprise. Nashville, Indiana, over to Bloomington. So that's probably where we're going to see, at least from the storms that we've seen so far.
There could have been a tornado southeast of Bloomington. But there was definitely a surge of wind and very, very heavy rain in there. And I'm sure they got some problems. They're out and about looking in the community. So while we're just reevaluating all that stuff by Cincinnati is no big deal at all. It's just some rain, okay? But it's not nice to drive in that all night. The main line that I think is getting started is Muncie, Indianapolis, just south of Terre Haute, and over to across the Wabash River Valley, and then over to Effingham, where those two storms are lit up with lightning.
Yeah.
So that storm, if you do a track on that storm, that's heading towards
The
Paoli.
north or the south.
That's got Jasper, Paoli in maybe 2 hours, hour and a half, 2 hours, something like that.
Yeah, so that's moving east, moving east, southeast kind of. Let me put a track on this.
Yeah, that looks like Paoli-ish.
So we can watch this southern one.
I think that'll be a problem.
Let's see, 40 miles per hour.
I mean, that one really stands out. Yeah, that looks good.
So, of course, it doesn't give me Paoli.
Of course.
But
Does it give you Jasper?
it's still going to give us time, or take some time to get where we need to go.
Yeah.
The problem with the cone is it obviously spans out because it tries to encompass more areas the farther out that you do go.
But those two with the lightning will be the ones that will be a problem tonight. That really stand out there. That one southeast of Effingham and the one northeast of Effingham up towards Martinsville. I think those will be the problems. Once again, they're both aiming towards folks like Paoli, Jasper, Bedford, Mitchell, maybe Salem, all in there. Orleans, Mitchell. If you hear these towns, French Lick, all these places, I think could have a problem in a couple hours. We'll see what these storms do. And Louisville, you're probably wondering what in the heck is going on? Well, be patient.
Yep, and for our producer behind the scenes, we're going to have to hop on TV for a minute because of this little circulation that you're seeing right here.
Where were you?
So east of Guthrie, looks like they went ahead and issued a tornado warning downstream of that.
Okay, Guthrie.
Okay. Up in
There it is.
Lawrence, Jackson.
Oh,
Yeah.
that came, okay.
So we're going to hop on TV in the next few seconds. For those of us streaming, just hang tight. We got to make sure our viewers on the linear side can get an update.
They just put there's two different tornado warnings out. One's east of our area, just northeast of Jefferson County, Madison.
Thank you all for joining us on the TV side. Unfortunately, we do have to cut in for another tornado warning. I know we just wrapped up the 11 o'clock newscast, but what you're looking at on your screen here is a tornado warning until 12:15 Eastern time. And this is once again in the far northern reaches of our viewing area here in Kentuckiana. So this is far north of Louisville, but it does include some of our viewing area here in Jackson County and just on the northeastern side there of Lawrence County in Indiana. So we've been watching this storm, and this was one that looked like it was straightening out a bit and then has tried to kind of wrap back up. And with it, a little bit of that rotation is coming back into the center. So you can see that here in velocity. I'm going to pull that up. Where you're seeing this red and green kind of blob there, that circulation there, it was just around Guthrie and is now pushing off to the east, right there on the north edge of the county line. That will be moving into Jackson County. So currently this is in Lawrence County, moving back into Jackson County, and the National Weather Service office in Indianapolis went ahead and issued a tornado warning for this until 12:15. So this is, as I mentioned, a storm that we were watching when it was far off to our west. And we have to keep an eye on these because they can be sneaky as they try to kind of wrap back up at times, tap into some of that rotation if they can.
It looks better on Indianapolis radar.
And pull and kind of wrap back up. So, and then this other tornado warning that you're seeing on the screen there, that red, that's just outside of our coverage area.
Yeah, you can see it really well if you go to the Indy radar there, Mallory.
Okay.
You can see it better than ours or better than Evansville. There's a couplet right there. So there's a storm near Guthrie. You can almost, and Mallory can show you the little hook echo and the rotational couplet. I don't know these towns very well, but it's just east of Guthrie. They took a movement to the east at 50, so that puts in Seymour and, Jonesville again. That seems to be our popular town of the night.
Yes.
There it is, right there. She's nailed it.
So right there, it's Yellowstone. It's
Yellowstone.
the name of the town there. So this is moving east, and
it's got a definite pendant, a little hook echo there.
so there's just enough rotation there for National Weather Service up in Indianapolis. Good call to issue this tornado warning until 12:15. And Seymour, the previous storm stayed just off to your north. This one, I know you probably just got out of your safe place. It's important to head back in if you can, because what we're watching there is that the cell that you're seeing trying to kind of hook back up again. And this is moving east around 55 miles per hour. So it's a pretty quick moving storm.
So the thing that's really interesting, that is a legit tornado warning. If you look at the signature, it's got a looping S, and then it comes back right in the inflow, the little free area on the just southeast of where the warning, on the beginning of the warning. That's where a tornado, where Mallory just circled. If you're there near Yellowstone, I'm serious. This is the real deal. This is the real deal. You need to get to your safe shelter right now. That means I-65, Jonesville, is really in the threat of this storm as it moves off to the east, southeast, and it's totally legit to have a tornado right in there. And it's at night. I just hate this.
Mm-hmm. So I'm going to put the warning back over the overlay.
That would be
here.
great, because I don't know these towns in that county right there. I just don't.
So this one is moving east. Still, I mean, about 55 miles per hour is what the warning had. So let me...
Looks like Freetown is the one I see it's heading towards.
Yes, Freetown, you are in the crosshairs here of this tornado warning, so please get to your safe place. Jonesville, you're included in this as well. Yeah. And eventually this would head towards Seymour around 12:20 if it hangs together. So
yeah, that's a really impressive signature on radar, unfortunately. I hate this. And it's really between 3 radars, so we triangulate, believe it or not. We look at the Louisville radar, we look at the Evansville radar, we look at the Indianapolis radar. But that thing...
Yeah, it's hooking back up.
That thing's a legit deal. And just for our communities that are east of our viewing area, they put a tornado warning east of our listening area, but over towards Cincinnati. That also has really tightened up in the last 5 minutes. That's over near Versailles, Indiana. And I don't know these towns, Dillsboro. Yeah, that's a legit cell too. So they've ramped right back up as we thought they might. And if you're in Seymour, Jonesville, Interstate 65, you need to have a plan of action now, right this second.
Yeah.
Don't they, Mallory?
Yes, this is all moving east. And as John mentioned, this is, I mean, this storm has just evolved in the last, what, 15 minutes?
Yeah, that's because, so Doug asked us during the 11 o'clock news, is that this pattern is more indicative of late April, early May. We have just such strong wind energy. Coupled with these dew points that are almost near 70 degrees. That's a very bad combination. So this storm's moving off to the east-southeast, and I expect Interstate 65, which we mentioned just an hour ago, near Jonesville and Seymour. Very heavy rain with this thing, and it's wrapping up, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So places like Freetown, Jonesville, Seymour, get to your safe shelter. It is moving east at 50, 55 miles an hour.
Yeah, so Jackson County, Indiana, if you're listening, the northern side of it, you are under a tornado warning now until 12:15 due to this one storm that we've been watching. We've been watching this since it was in Illinois.
Yeah.
And it showed impressive signs of rotating. It had tornado warnings on it. And then we thought it was kind of straightening out a bit.
And then
it lost
just
that
blew
rotation. And now it wrapped right back up. And we can see that with storms like this. So that's why it's important not to let your guard down. This is why we have tornado watches issued for hours at a time, because we can see these storms within that show signs of rotating and potentially dropping a tornado. So we have this tornado warning, which is why we are breaking into your coverage here on the television side and continuing coverage on WHAS 11+. This is until 12:15.
Yeah, the new scan came in, so on the half a degree, which is at about 3,400 feet, that's about as tight as you'll see.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate. So where is that, Mallory, for tracking for everybody?
This is currently northwest of Freetown.
Okay.
That's kind of the biggest city.
That's what
that
I was going to
see.
reference to.
Yeah, that's the biggest city that I see. It looks like it's north of Norman,
Let me pull that up. Freetown, Indiana.
north of Kurtz, heading toward Freetown, Acme, Cortland, and then eventually Seymour, if you look farther downstream. So Seymour, if you're getting the alerts, you're hearing the sirens, head to your safe place. You have some lead time, but this is headed your direction.
Okay, so I'll give you some towns of interest. In Yellowstone, we mentioned a few moments ago, Kurtz. The major highway before Freetown is Highway 135, Indiana 135. But then it gets a lot more populated east of there when you get towards Seymour and Interstate 65. Real strong couplet, unfortunately, life-threatening in the rural areas just west of Freetown, Alphon, County Road 700 and County Road 625 between Houston and Kurtz. Strong indication of a tornado on the ground. And also another tornado warning that I mentioned a minute ago, really strong indication southeast of Versailles, Indiana. I know it's out of our viewing area just for awareness. And that's heading kind of towards Cincinnati Metro. That's a problem in itself right there. So this tornado warned storm. The last scan continues to show strong rotation as it moves off to the east-southeast. And I think it has a lot of heavy rain in it as well. Very, very heavy rain.
I'm rolling my computer out so I can work from the wall here.
Okay,
So
I don't
you all
think
can see me.
you won't be able to see anything. This is almost wrapped up into what's called an HP, a high precipitation supercell. So in that you won't be able to see anything. I don't care if you're on the movie Twister, you'll see nothing.
Right.
Because it's totally wrapped around in rain, and in that
Yes.
case, you got some very populated areas. Seymour, Jonesville, Interstate 65. Storm's moving your way. The time to plan is now and get to your safe shelter. I know it's an inconvenience. I know it's the middle of the night. Please seek your safe shelter. And Mallory's pointing green and red together, not good.
We don't like to see these colors together, especially this bright. So anytime you see reds and greens together, that means wind speeds are high and wind directions are moving in the opposite direction. And that's that combination that you need for rotation within a storm. So typically this is what National Weather Service offices look for if they're looking for signs of rotation and reasons to issue a tornado warning. And we've been seeing that. In fact, I can probably loop this for you just over maybe the last half hour to see how that's kind of tightened up there. And you'll notice we were watching it around Guthrie, and then now it's moving just north of Freetown.
Yeah, on the one of the products I look at is the NROT, the normalized rotation, and it's maxed.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like 2. 2 means there's usually a tornado.
Yeah. So get in your safe place if you are included in this tornado warning. Once again, we are watching this for Jackson County right now. Seymour, you're included in this. This will be moving toward I-65. And we did have another tornadic, or at least tornado warned storm earlier, just about an hour or so ago, impacting areas like Jonesville, and all that stayed off to the north of Seymour. But this, you could get lucky again, but we want you to stay in your safe place with the way that this storm is reacting and acting.
Yeah.
So we have this current tornado warning until 12:15 tonight.
Yeah. A lot of people like to look for what's called a CC drop, but it's too high up in the storm, and it's really rural in there. I've got my Google Maps up, and all I see is beautiful Indiana farmland and forest. Real strong, just north of Kurtz community. Kurtz is at State Route 58, and then it's County Road 625, just north of Kurtz. The next town of a sizable thing is Freetown, and that's pretty small too, actually. If you're going to have a tornado, this small area is a good place. Hope there's nobody under there. This thing really is wrapped up, Mallory.
Yeah, we don't like to see that. So I want to give everybody some perspective if you're not included in these warnings and you're wondering what we're looking at here. So this is all far north of Louisville, but still included in our coverage area here at WHAS 11, which is why we do cut into TV coverage. So far, things in Kentucky, at least in our viewing area, we're still dry. We're still waiting for all of this activity that we're seeing to move our direction. You'll notice some of these storms are starting to take a little bit more of a southeastern track here, and that will eventually pull all of this southward. But a lot of the latest timing with things moving into the metro is closer to 3 a.m., 4 a.m. So a lot of the stronger storms that we've been seeing this evening have been tracking more so central Illinois, central Indiana, in this corridor between about Indianapolis and just our northern tier of counties, Lawrence, Jackson, Jennings, close to Bloomington, Nashville we've been talking about as well. And those areas definitely got hit by, at the very least, some very strong winds earlier tonight. So we have just a ton of wind energy to tap into tonight, unusual for this time of year. And even though this is an overnight threat, so you typically think, hey, we don't have the storm fuel, we do have a lot of wind. And that's why we've been watching these storms bring a lot of wind energy and also unfortunately show some signs of rotation and potentially producing tornadoes.
Yeah, so the scan continues to show, unfortunately, they trimmed it up. So Guthrie, you're out of it now, which is good. But I would put it between Jonesville and Seymour. Seymour's larger than most people know, just the surrounding areas. So Interstate 65, so Rockford, Little Acre, that's where the rest area is up there between Seymour at the 50-mile marker over to Little Acre, Jonesville. Very populated on the north side of Seymour. Please get to your safe shelter. I think this thing's, if it's not on the ground, there's a funnel cloud.
Yeah.
That's how confident I am. You have gate-to-gate velocities. Look at the last scan, Mallory, at the storm relative velocity. There's a road there. It's just near Freetown, it looks like. 135. That's Indiana 135.
Yeah.
So it is
Right here.
approaching 135 and Freetown. Is that about right?
Yes, that is correct. So if this means anything to you, Bald Knobs, as well as an area that we're watching, 135, that is crossing that right now because, you know, radar scans can be a little bit delayed of what we're actually seeing right now on the ground. This is continuing to push off to the east. And as John mentioned, this might be somewhere between Jonesville and Seymour with its current track as it's pushing off to the east here. So this has been a storm that we've been watching, as I mentioned, since Illinois.
Yeah.
And it wrapped.
It came
and
to
then we were
life
like,
again.
Yeah, and we thought it was kind of straightening out a little bit, and now it's showing that sign again of trying
And
to
what's
rotate.
so interesting is it's totally rain wrapped. A lot of times it's all by itself and you can see all these Twister movies and all that stuff. This thing is completely wrapped around in rain.
Yeah.
You will not see this.
No.
You will not see anything. You'll hear a noise with very heavy rain and it won't be good. Tornado warning, seek your shelter. Seymour, we're sounding the alarm for Seymour, Jonesville, Rockford. I see it's going to go through Bobtown. That looks real small. Cortland, and especially our friends who are traveling, Interstate 65. When will it be there, over there towards Seymour on your track?
So they just put a purple on it, which means it's radar confirmed.
Yeah, it must have been. Let's look at
because of the TDS.
They must have saw. Let me look on that.
Yeah, he's going to look that up. I'm going to look at
there
the
it
track
is.
here.
There it is.
So 45 miles per hour. It is currently 13 miles west of Seymour. So Seymour, get in your safe place. Let's put a track on this.
Yeah, bit of a CC signature right there.
And John, do you have this currently up on your computer?
I
Are you
do.
watching? I don't know if producers, if you can take his ROI at any point. There we go.
Okay,
wanna
this
show the people what
signature
you're
does
looking at?
just northeast of Kurtz, on the bottom screen right there. There's a bit of a signature that there could be a little stuff being lifted right there. That's probably why they went confirmed right there, just northeast of Kurtz. But it's completely rain wrapped. It's completely rain wrapped. You see nothing.
Yeah.
The velocity is what I really want to focus in. Let me go to one panel, just 1 second. Producer, let me go to the velocity. There we go, right here. Right there by Freetown. You see the word Freetown? Go north. See that little brown and green? That's very bad. I'll go on the other velocity. Here we go, we'll go to 2 screen. Here is the storm. You just look at it, it doesn't look as bad as it normally would, but the velocity is off the charts on my bottom screen. You see the red and the green, they're very, very close. That is a strong indication of a tornado right there on the ground. And we hate this, we really do. Let's see if we can see on the CC on this one. Let's see if we can get anything pop up. Not right now, that's out of Indianapolis, but very strong indication of a tornado right now, right northeast of Freetown. And that means, based on that track, Rockford, Little Acre, Seymour, Cortland, and Interstate 65. Very strong indication of a tornado. Please seek shelter now.
Yes, I did put a tracker on this. It does show Cortland 1219, Bobtown 1220, Seymour 1224. So get in your safe place right now. I'll actually step out of the way since I put that tracker here. So this is the storm that we're looking at in Jackson County. This is right on really the northern edge of our viewing area here in WHAS 11 kind of coverage territory. And we've been tracking this storm. It's showing that high velocity couplet, which means strong winds that are rotating. And anytime you see this purple polygon, it's always important to take a tornado warning seriously. But when it's got that purple outline, that means at the very least it is radar confirmed.
Yeah.
So we do want you to head to your safe place, Seymour, and for anywhere that's in this polygon, you've been hearing the sirens likely. Hopefully you had those multiple warnings to wake you up if you were asleep. This is marching off to the east now, around 40 to 50 miles per hour.
Yeah, so I'm still looking to see if we got, see, I don't see the signature on the CC right now, but the velocity is good enough for me.
Yeah.
The velocity is as strong as you'll see in Oklahoma. Man, the inbounds are strong. But it's right on 130, that Indiana 135.
135.
Yep, it's right there on it right now. And I just looked at a couple Google Maps, Mallory. Oh, man, there's not much, which is good, right? Very good.
Spraytown, there's 58. That's also another road.
I see that, yeah.
And around or north of 258. So if what we're saying makes sense to you, that means you're under this polygon and we want you to seek shelter.
Yeah, 258 goes, where does it go to? It goes over there towards Acme. Oh, gotta love that from the Roadrunner. Acme, Cortland, and over to Seymour. Looks to me on the most northern part of the Seymour, the city of Seymour, and Jonestown right in there. Jonesville, excuse me.
It's kind of favoring this area just north.
Yep.
Kind of right between Jones. If it continues its current track.
Yep.
This still means Seymour, you're still in your safe place.
But torrential rain on 65. So it is not going to get better for the next 30 minutes. It's only going to get worse. I-65, if you can pull over south of Seymour, if you're going north, or if you're in Columbus, just stop and get a coffee. Very bad between Jonesville and Seymour on 65. That includes Little Acre, and Rockford, Jonesville. Serious tornado situation heading north of Seymour in the next 15 minutes.
And I do want to point out that the National Weather Service in Indianapolis went ahead and just extended this into Jennings County to be safe, since we did get reports from a firefighter in Jackson County. It does look like in NWS chat that a firefighter did spot a tornado on the ground. So they're going to continue this off to the east and northeast into Jennings County. That does include North Vernon. And I'm going to go ahead and see how long this was issued for until 1 a.m.
All I'll say is they may have spotted damage. That'd be very hard to spot. It's totally rain wrapped.
That's a good point.
That's the comment. I mean, I don't think I could spot this. Yeah, that's a good warning. They fanned it out. They've got a little bit of north and east. I think it may stay on the southern edge of that polygon. So if I would go between Jonesville, North Seymour. The next, after that, Vernon, North Vernon needs to be on the lookout.
Yeah, let
me zoom out while you look at that storm just to see if there's anything else.
Yeah, of course. I'm going to put a tracker on this. So moving east at 45 miles per hour. I have my computer with me here on the green screen. So if you see me kind of looking off to the corner, I'm just tracking this in real time for you. So I can put a cone on this. 45, push this off to the east, has it in North Vernon around 1244. So you'll notice the other, there we go. The other cities, Cortland, 1219, Reading, 1226, Fleming, 1231, Four Corners, 1236, Queensville, 1241, North Vernon, 1244, Grayford, 1247. So just note that that's if it continues on the same path at the same speed.
Some good news. The rotation has weakened. It's still very strong. But compared to 5 minutes ago,
you're right, yeah.
significant. I'm trying to go back and forth. The problem is the radar, the curvature of the Earth, number Columbus. But anyway, we got to look at the Louisville radar and the Indianapolis radar to get a better handle on which angle we can see. It actually appears Indianapolis still has a better angle of the storm. Man, Jonesville. But rotation has come down. I think it's recycling. I think the storm may pick up in a few minutes, but right now it's weakening.
Yeah.
And that's a good thing.
We'll take anything we can get, right? So as John mentioned, it does look like it's heading closer to Jonesville, a little bit farther from Seymour. So this is a similar track from the storm that actually came in from slightly the west-northwest earlier tonight, and went more so over Jonesville, over 65, and then off to the east into Jennings County, and spared most of Seymour there. So we are still under a tornado warning. We'll be watching this, and as John mentioned, this storm could be cycling. So what that means is even though it might not look as impressive on the couplet that we're seeing, it can still tighten back up in the future. So these always bear watching, especially with a situation like this where we have, as we keep mentioning, so much wind energy. So to give everybody an idea of what we're looking at, if you're just now popping onto our live stream, we've been going since 10 p.m., first giving an update, and then we've had a few tornado warnings all in the same general area. So this is all in our far northern counties, Jackson and Jennings counties, and those were the counties that were first included in the tornado watch for good reason earlier this afternoon through 1 a.m. And then more counties got filled in for the tornado watch, but we're really watching this exact corridor for that tornado threat tonight. So southern to central Indiana over into Illinois, and that may be carrying over into the Cincinnati metro area as well.
We're near Freetown somewhere. If you go to the 1206 scan, you can actually see it.
Do you want to show your?
Yeah, can we show my screen?
Yes.
Okay.
So show
All right,
the
let me
viewers
draw
what you're
this
looking
for
at.
everyone, then you can see it. That little blue thing right there, that is something being vaulted up into the atmosphere. Tornado debris signature. And that thing's up in the atmosphere. They're not correlated. It's an old scan for some reason. So this was at 1206. There we go. They're correlated now. So there you see the red and the green together. And then you see the debris. That's somewhere near Freetown. Near Indiana 135, Kurtz, Houston, somewhere in there. That is what a tornado looks like on radar. You ever see those blue kind of colors? That's a TDS, and that's why they went confirmed in the purple colors that Mallory was telling you about.
Yeah, so those are the things that we're looking at if we can't get eyeballs on it, which John keeps mentioning how this is rain wrapped. So it'd be hard to get eyeballs on it, not to mention the fact that it's at night. So when you're looking for those confirmed tornadoes on the ground, this is the best we can get when we have these kind of radar tools where you're looking at velocity and then also correlation coefficient, which is what he was talking about.
It's recycling right now, so there is no tornado
So
right now.
Weakening at the moment.
There's no tornado at the moment. It's cut itself off. But a lot of times what will happen is it will recycle. This has a strong history of producing tornadoes back into Illinois. We were telling you that at 10:30. The one there's on the Wabash, we thought it was weakening. It's ginned back up. And I think right now it's going under a recycling. So my guess is there might strengthen a little bit east of 65 again. So we'll see how this plays out.
Yeah, so this is why National Weather Service, great call with the tornado warnings that have been issued and also for issuing this downstream. So I'm going to pop that back up and you'll notice it's a purple box, which you might not be used to seeing when we have a purple box. That is a, quote, confirmed tornado.
And just a comment on a tornado that doesn't affect our area, but that thing's on the ground too. The one that's over there northeast of Dillsboro, that's the tornado warning over there northeast of Madison, Indiana.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that couplet is very nasty.
Yeah, and that's heading toward Florence. It looks like Kentucky.
Yeah, that could be a problem. If you have anyone in the Cincinnati metro, northern Kentucky, Florence, y'all, that storm really bears a lot of watching.
Yeah, so these are the active warnings that we do have in place. Red with the purple box, confirmed tornado. Red, tornado warnings. Green, flash flood warnings. And if we had anything yellow, which we do farther off to the northwest in Illinois, that is a severe thunderstorm warning that we're watching here. And I can give you kind of a big picture view also of what we're looking at and what's to come for tonight, because, you know, this is a slow moving system. All this activity that's more so in central to southern Illinois, this is starting its very slow retreat down to the southeast. And as it does so, it'll eventually work its way into areas closer to the river and down into Louisville and Kentucky later on tonight. So we've been talking about it could be 3 or 4 a.m. until we see anything in Louisville. And we could still be tracking at the very least gusty winds, very heavy rainfall, and frequent lightning at that time.
Yep, yep. So the good news is that one warning they issued, I still think they need flash flood warnings up the wazoo. That's just a comment. I think there's torrential rainfall right now at 65 by Jonesville and just north of Seymour. Okay, so I'll go to one screen and make it easier for everybody. There we go. Okay, so the tornado warned storm, if there was a tornado, which I don't think there is now, is southwest of Jonesville. It may recycle, and that's why there's a good warning up. It's very proactive. Well done. It's between Jonesville and Seymour. It's moving off to the northeast at, what'd you say, 50? Something like that. Mm-hmm. Oh, we do have a flash flood warning out. Wonderful. I see one. Wonderful. We need more. And Louisville, we're fine, right? Wait about 3 hours.
Yeah.
And it will get down here. Other storms of note that will be a problem are the ones that are just going across the river right now, the Wabash River, northwest of Vincennes. Those will be moving towards the east-southeast through time and become a problem later on. There they go. And I think they're going to congeal into a line. It's just going to take some time. Meanwhile, at least right now, the tornado that was on the ground has lifted for the moment. It's still rotating, and it's going to try to recycle. And if it does, it will produce another tornado. So it's a very good idea to have a tornado warning out. And we're kind of getting on the edge of the Indy radar, so we're going to have to go maybe to Covington there in a minute, Mallory.
Yeah. So for those who might just be popping into our coverage, we are on air on WHAS 11. We've been on our streaming app, WHAS 11 Plus, which is free to download at any point on your smart TV and on your phone since 10 p.m. We've been streaming and through the 11 o'clock newscast. But the reason we hopped back on air is due to this tornado warning. And it was a good reason for it because we were watching that tornado signature that you see with velocity. So those are your winds that rotate. Those winds that can be very strong, and you're also noticing that the National Weather Service, they are trimming the backside of it. So once this has moved through, they are trimming the backside of it, so you're no longer included. Seymour still just to the north of you, heading toward North Vernon. As John mentioned, this storm is doing what's called recycling, and so it can tighten up, show that couplet, kind of weakens a bit, and then can tighten back up, which is why it's always important, even when you think something is weakening, to keep an eye on it in case it does decide to tap back into that.
Yep. Yeah, they kept the observed on it. Right now, it is probably producing a lot of wind and very heavy rain and lightning. But the tornado threat, even though there's a tornado warning, has definitely come down. You stay in your shelter. They've been trimming. It's crossing 65, the worst of the storm right now. And taking a look at Indianapolis, you see me looking up and down. I'll have a chiropractor later today. But anyway, that good news is it is definitely weakened. The colors, you don't see that strong green like we did, green and red together. But this is kind of what it looked like in a weekend coming out of Illinois. And then it perked right back up. So this thing may become a new problem soon. They're in a tough position. They've got a little time. Storm's moving at 55, but in about 3 minutes, they're going to have to decide what to do with this, if they're going to extend the warning to the east. My guess is they'll go severe to possible and see if it intensifies. But all these storms, Mallory, they just have that heavy rain look.
Yes.
They just do.
Yeah, tons of heavy rainfall. Obviously, anytime you see deep reds on a radar, you know that they're just coming down torrentially with that rain. And something that we were mentioning earlier in our stream and also on the newscast is how our dew points. So this is a way to tell your moisture at the surface has just greatly increased over the last several hours. We are up to a 70-degree dew point in Louisville, John.
Really?
Yep, 70.
Wow.
So
we were 50 yesterday.
Yeah, we were 50 yesterday. We were in the lower 60s. You know, it might have felt maybe a little bit muggier at times, but we've had those very gusty winds, and all of this moisture is being pulled to the north. And so this is feeding the storms that we're seeing out there tonight, not only with the rainfall rates, but also just giving them more fuel to be on the strong side. So this is why, you know, we preach it, turn around, don't drown. Obviously, take these tornado warnings seriously. Obviously, take wind threats seriously, but also take heavy rainfall, flooding threats seriously, because even though we don't have, I don't believe, any current flash flood warnings for our viewing area, I wouldn't be surprised to see more of those as the night progresses. We do have a flood watch from 9 p.m. tonight through 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. And then in addition to that, if you're curious about tornado watches, the one that was issued for our northernmost counties, that was the first. And then we filled in kind of the rest down to the Louisville metro, including southern Indiana through 5 o'clock in the morning.
You know, one thing, can you pull up the traffic tracker, see if there's anything on 65 that was there's crossing, see if there's any delays right in there.
See. Up to the north?
Yeah, right by Seymour, you know.
Yeah. Give me
I'm just curious.
a moment. Yeah. I can pull that up.
I would think there would be some traffic slowdown.
Hopefully there's not too many folks on the road.
I know.
You know.
Yeah.
But that is obviously a major issue for truckers. And you know, when we tend to get winds as well, if they're especially hitting you perpendicular to the way that you're going, so north and south, winds are coming in from the west. Not a good combination there.
Not a good combination at all. Yeah, and we've been saying for 2 days now that southern Indiana was the main threat, and southern Indiana is indeed the main threat. So
traffic tracker right now still shows greens. It doesn't go super far north. You're seeing some oranges.
Thanks for showing that.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I did want to look at that to see if anything would come through our system. But most of our system kind of hovers more so around the Louisville metro. But as John mentioned, dealing with very heavy rainfall rates, frequent lightning, these storms are going to be loud. They're going to pack a punch with wind, and some of them have had signs of rotation. In fact, this radar indicated tornado that we were watching for you in far northern Jackson County heading into Jennings County here. So I'm going to take a look. How does the recent scan look?
I'll tell you, that first one, can I just say this really quick?
Yeah.
That first one, I know that's not our area, but that first one's now in the metro, getting into the metro of Cincinnati. That is not good.
Oh, yeah, and that one's now radar.
They got radar confirmed. That's in the metro of Cincinnati. So that would be, let's see, where exactly is this? It may hit the Covington Airport. That is right near CVG. I think we should at least address that. That's where a lot of people fly out of. I fly out of there. Let's go to the Wilmington. Yeah, where's the radar? Yeah, it's right near CVG. Florence. Yeah. And they went radar confirmed, didn't they?
Yes.
What did they
so
say?
if you have friends and family in the Cincinnati metro area, please make sure that they are
Rising
aware.
Sun. I don't know where oh, there it is. Rising Sun. There it is. Union, Independence, Walton. Not good. This stuff is serious, folks. Very serious. Moving off to the northeast. Excuse me, to the east at 45 to 50 miles an hour. And there it is. Yeah, Rising Sun. Yeah, maybe right there. Let's go back and see if we can look at this.
Yeah, so John's currently looking at a storm that is tornado warned and also tornado radar confirmed in the Cincinnati metro area. So this isn't currently in our viewing area. while we start to see, the cell that we've been watching under the tornado warning kind of cycle. But a lot of us have friends and family in the Cincinnati metro, I know, and that's a very
You
popular.
can go to Mallory's screen if you would. I'm just going to look at a couple things, see if I can find it for you.
Yeah. So once again, we have one tornado warning that we're still watching. This is from Seymour over to North Vernon until 1 a.m. So this is the storm that we were watching, as I mentioned, starting in Illinois. And then it moved into Lawrence County, and it weakened somewhat, became a little bit more linear, and then tried to wrap again as it's continued to push off to the east. So we did have a radar-confirmed tornado around
If you go to my screen, I can show it.
Okay, yeah, let's pop back over to the ROI.
Okay, here we go. So this storm, there's your hook echo, northeast of Bellevue, southwest of Burlington. Look at the greens and the reds come together. That's not good. There it is. And that's getting into that could hit CVG. Independence, Burlington. That's in the metro. That's a serious, so we'll do a loopity-loop. I'll do that while I go to the, just give me a moment. Let's see if we see it. No, we'll go back here, Yeah, there it is. That thing, it's surging southeast, Independence, Walton, oh my gosh. Yeah, that's not good. That's a very populated area. Anyway, I just wanted to show that. We'll go back to our other tornado warning storm, but I just wanted to show that.
No, I appreciate that. And obviously, as I mentioned, a lot of us have friends and family in the Cincinnati metro area. Make sure that they are staying weather alert tonight. But in terms of the one tornado warning that we are still watching here in Kentuckiana for our viewing area, it is the one that's currently moving through just between Seymour and Jonesville and continuing off to the east into the northern half of Jennings County. So this is until 1 o'clock in the morning. And they took away the radar confirmed outline. But regardless, this has been a storm that cycled and that showed rotation and then kind of recycled to where it loosens that a bit before it potentially tries to tighten back up. So this is why you tend to keep these tornado warnings downstream, especially when there's been a history of weather reports or radar indication from earlier with the storm.
Yep. So the good news on our tornado warning storm, there's more than one. It's crossed Interstate 65 now, and you're going towards Mount Vernon. No indication of a tornado, even though there's a tornado warning, no indication of a tornado at this moment. We'll see if it recycles and comes back together. Right now, it is not like it was 15 minutes ago, Mallory. It's totally different. Another warning, another storm that may become a problem for the Cincinnati Metro is up by Greensburg. Our next problem will be these storms by Vincennes, northwest of Vincennes and Robinson. We've mentioned Robinson more than once in Illinois. Those storms, let's do a little loopity-loop on there. Yeah, there they are. Just a little bit south of east to get down here, but the tornado threat basically is in a line for right in the next hour is basically Vincennes, Bedford, Seymour, and the Cincinnati Metro.
Yes.
That's pretty much your position. And that lightning out of those storms still is prolific, Mallory.
Right, even at this hour of night. So these storms, they're not weakening. You might see some of these storms that, as we mentioned, had tornado warnings on them, quote, recycling and then kind of tightening back up in certain areas. But we still have a lot to go in terms of storm coverage tonight. At the very least, very heavy rainfall makers, gusty winds, frequent lightning, and at the very most, unfortunately, some storms that could drop a tornado, like we've been seeing with this one that cut through Lawrence County, Jackson County, Jennings County now.
My sense is they're going to drop this tornado warning in about, when does it expire? Let's see, when is the...
It expires at 1, but...
1, they're going to let it go. That's going to get out of the box in about 7 to 8 minutes. That warning will go one way or the other, it's going to go. If I was in their shoes, I would put out a severe with a tour possible. We'll see what they do. That's what I would do. Plus, they're getting out of their area into Wilmington's area. The split's just east of there. I think Switzerland County, the switch. So, and then we'll be tornado free, at least briefly.
For now.
Mallory's doing great over there, folks. Give her some cheers.
Thanks. And what John's talking about is the fact that, you know, we have what's called our coverage area, right? We have the counties that we cover with our TV signal here at WHAS 11, but you also have National Weather Service offices who have different counties that they cover. So this northern edge, in fact, of the counties, basically the counties that we've been cutting into for coverage, Lawrence, Jackson, Jennings counties, these are all under National Weather Service Indianapolis. And then as you move closer to the east, that's Wilmington. And as you get obviously just that county south, you're under the Louisville area. So we have a lot of offices who work with each other to issue these storms, the warnings, and also they talk to the Storm Prediction Center for any kind of watches and things of that nature. So we've just been watching the same general area right now. And this has been the trend over the last couple of hours. Eventually, I know you're probably wondering if you're in Louisville, where are these storms? What are you talking about? They're currently all to our north. They've been taking more of a west to east movement, and we're waiting for those that are taking more of that southeast movement, which we're seeing more so in Illinois. And you can tell that as I put it on a loop. So they have that just slight southeast kind of movement here, and they will be moving into the rest of our counties through the overnight period.
Yep.
But right now we're just watching this one.
They put a new
little
tornado
storm.
warning out for the metro of Cincinnati. That's just south side. It is now not radar confirmed, but it's south of Independence. That's just a busy area. All those interstates come together.
Oh, yeah.
There's just nonstop population. Right in there. I just wanted to bring that up. But I think we're going to be tornado free very shortly.
Yeah. So this rotation that we've been watching, just not really there anymore with this particular storm, which we're thankful for, obviously.
Yeah.
So I can backtrack it a little bit to where it was. We were talking about Freetown. That was an area that we were talking about where this could have touched down. Because that, I mean, just take, so it really came out of Guthrie.
Yep.
Here, I'm going to step off screen so you can see it. Guthrie, and then continued east around Freetown, and then we were tracking it between about Jonesville and Seymour, and then it just kind of recycled there.
Yep, sure did.
So
we will be tornado free and,
oh,
did they go further?
no, I think they just dropped it.
Yeah, I think that was either nothing or a severe.
Or my computer just dropped it.
I still have it over, let me double check.
They canceled the tornado warning.
Okay, so I just got this report from our Reed Yaden. Jackson County Sheriff's Dispatch, numerous homes damaged in Freetown.
Yep.
One house described as upside down. Numerous power lines down.
Goodness.
No reported injuries at this time. Everything's still concentrated in the Freetown area. So Freetown, where we tried to...
Yeah.
I hate this stuff, okay? We hate this stuff.
Yeah.
Especially at night. Thank you, Reed. Appreciate you, man.
Yeah, thank you, Reed.
Yeah, that one, they did drop it. You are correct. You're ahead of me. So that one, we are tornado free in our listen area, but I just want to do this, if we do go off briefly. South side of the Cincinnati Metro, the south side of the Cincinnati Metro. Let me go to their, just bear with me. I'm going to go to the radar, what's called their terminal Doppler, and I'll show it to you. Ohio, there we go, there we go, there we go, there we go. Okay, there we go. Where is it? There it is. Okay, if you want to go to my screen, I can show it to you.
The ROI computer, if the producers can take.
Thank you. Appreciate you guys. Okay, there it is. So on the left screen, where the little triangle is, that's the hook echo. Okay? So the giant Florence yaw, if it's on the ground, it's right there. Let's do a loopity-loop. And that's why they put the new box out there. It's moving more east, so that's Florence. God, I hate to see that in Florence. If you know anyone in Florence right now, Florence yaw with the big sign, this is serious. So anyway, we are tornado free in our listening area at the moment, Mallory.
Yes, that is great news to hear. So I want to wrap up things on the TV side because we cut in typically when there's a tornado warning, and the tornado warnings that we had issued for our area, those were allowed to expire. So we are going to wrap things up on the TV side. I want to linger for just a few minutes on the streaming side, and then we'll take a break from there. But if you are watching WHAS 11, we can now go back to regular programming on ABC. And it does look like tornado watch time extended. So I'm assuming that's for the northern tier.
Probably. They did a local extension.
Yeah. So those northern counties that were until 1 a.m., they've now continued until 3 a.m.
Yeah, they just coordinate with SPC. It's just a simple process.
Yeah. So this is what we're looking at from a watch perspective. Once again, northern tier until 3 a.m. because that's the National Weather Service Indianapolis office, and then the southern tier as things start to move southward until 5 a.m. So as we mentioned, thankfully for our particular viewing area, we do not have any additional tornado warnings that we're watching. The one that we were watching was allowed to be canceled early because it was no longer showing the signs of rotation that it did. That unfortunately caused all of the damage up near Freetown. So still seeing some showers and storms rolling through Freetown, but nothing severe right now. All eyes are on areas in the Cincinnati metro, and then also closer to the Indiana-Illinois border that we'll have to watch for the next round of storms that could be moving into some of our Indiana counties.
Yeah, folks, if you know anyone in Florence, you check on them right now. This is a very dangerous situation, just like we saw in Freetown just a little bit ago. Same exact things. Let's go to the same thing I was doing before. We'll look at the radar in the metro of Cincinnati and select. Gosh, I don't know why. I got to save this. When you get old, sometimes you forget things. All right, there we go, and there it is. Yep, there it is. Look at the little mesovort. That's a hook echo right there. You draw number 6, and there's your rotation. Florence, south side of Florence. Gosh, I hope that's not on the ground. Very bad. I know that's not our area, but that's a big city, a big city. And that metro, I swear Kentucky seems to have as many people as Ohio, right?
Yeah, yeah.
It's a lot going, it's a big city. Yeah, that's a problem. And for us, thank goodness, we are, knock on wood, Mallory, we're in a bit of a lull.
We are in a bit of a lull. So I think what we're going to do here is we're going to wrap up our stream. So thank you all who have been with us since 10 p.m. when we started this stream. We carried on into the 11 p.m. newscast and continued afterward due to the warnings that we had. As John mentioned, we are currently in a lull, but many of us are still under a watch for the next several hours. So we're going to take a bit of a break. We are going to regroup, keep an eye on the radar, and of course, cut into coverage if needed as we carry on through the overnight and early morning hours. So please make sure you have multiple ways to stay alert tonight, stay safe, and we will be checking back in as needed.